Hansi Flick's old club confirmed today. Hansi Flick's old club confirmed today that Vincent Kompany is the new manager. Of course, we discussed this over the last week. This is what Vincent Kompany had to say. I'm looking forward to the challenge of FC Bayern. As a coach, you have to stand for what you are as a character. I love having the ball, being creative, but we also have to be aggressive and courageous on the pitch. I'm now looking forward to the basics, working with the players, building a team. Once the basis is right, success will follow. Archie, obviously, we've discussed this with you before, and you were just saying, look, fans are just happy it's done. They're relieved that they've got a new manager who, if you believe reports, is the 8th choice. There is absolutely no way that any other big club in the world, be it Manchester City, be it PSG, be it Barcelona, would hire a coach that just got a team relegated in the Premier League. How much attention is that getting?
It's got a lot of tabloid attention, and I think that it is understandable because that is the headline. But when you look beyond that, Vincent Kompany has a huge name in football from what he achieved as a player. And as we've seen with the success of Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen, that is important and is a weapon if you can use it in the right way. So I think that, in a way, Bayern have taken a leaf out of what Bayer Leverkusen have done in their appointment of Vincent Kompany. And given the way that the situation was going, they've come up with, I think, an impressive solution to the problem for now, because they had to get a coach before making this summer upheaval. This is only the first part of the puzzle. They will also have, I think, a certain amount of authority over Vincent Kompany when it comes to transfers, which is important because there's been a lot of talk about whether a coach coming in would get the players that they would want. And I think by having Vincent Kompany, it takes the pressure off in that way, because I think they'll find it easier to say no to him because of the fact that he's really coming in wanting this job a little bit more than Bayern initially wanted him. So I think it's still an intriguing situation to see how it works out. And let's not forget that whilst I don't want to say that Vincent Kompany is going to become a managerial or coaching great here, there are coaching greats such as Jurgen Klopp, Arsene Wenger, who endured early relegations in their career and got to learn from them as well. And I think that for me would be something to emphasise, looking at the bigger picture and thinking about how his style of play with Burnley in the Championship, when he had a better quality of player and was able to dominate the league, that's going to be a more similar situation to what he'll have at Bayern rather than what he was facing with Burnley. That's not as much to, I think, associate with.
Frank, how would you feel if you're, say, a Thomas Muller in that Bayern dressing room with Kompany coming in?
I would be interested. And Archie explained exactly what I think. I think it's a good idea. maybe the 8th choice, but I think it's a good idea, and the Xabi Alonso example is a great one.
Yes, I know. You could say Xabi Alonso, but you could also say Steven Gerrard. You could also say Frank Lampard. There's the list is much longer. It's much longer, this list, isn't it? Of great players who have failed as a coach than those who have succeeded. Plus, taking over a Bayer Leverkusen side is very different to taking over Bayern Munich, given the spotlight and given the expectations.
Okay, I agree with you, Dan, but give me a name of a coach, experienced coach, who can ensure you that Bayern Munich is going to be successful again. Nobody did, and nobody is going to be able to tell you, because it's impossible. And it's also up to the players in the dressing room to accept the new coach and to accept his ideas and the way they have to work together. Otherwise, of course, it's not going to work, but he will never work with any coaches, even with 20 years of experiences. And it's been shown lately in the recent past. So give a chance to the product. He's a legend of football. He has a past, and he has the credit that you need to handle a dressing room, unless you don't want him to do so. So Kimmich, Müller, and some others will have to accept that the fact he has maybe no experience, but he has ideas, and he wants to be successful, and he wants to work with them, and make sure that Bayern Munich goes back to the best of the best. You don't have the insurance is going to work, but you don't have the insurance is not going to work as well. So try it, let's see, and as I always say, give a chance to the product. And I think Vincent Kompany is a very good product.
Frank, very positive, very optimistic. Would you be, Shaka, if you were in that dressing room?
Not right now, no. And listen, maybe things change and my mind changes once pre-season starts and I'm able to work with the new manager a little bit more closely. But the truth is, and while I understand, I guess, the parallels between Kompany and Xabi Alonso, maybe I understand the parallels between Burnley and the Championship and how we got them to play with a superior player. Bayern Munich, and the difference between Bayern Munich and Burnley is less about the quality of player that you have over the opposition, but how you manage expectations, how you manage the politics around the club, how you manage some of those talents and some of those egos. Vincent Kompany can walk into the Burnley dressing room and have a conversation and everybody sit up and take notice and hang on every word as though it was scripture because of who he was as a player. But if you can boast a CV as good as, if not better than Vincent Kompany's, his words don't carry that same gravity. And that for me is a challenge. And then again, how do you, and I think this was part of Burnley's issue in getting relegated, adjustments when things aren't going well, against a better opponent. If you're one down, if you're a man down, how do you make those adjustments? I'm not sure that Vincent Kompany got those absolutely right. You aren't allowed any kind of leeway when you're managing Bayern Munich. You cannot be, the opponent can't be a man down and you lose in any competition. And I feel some of those things are learned. So it's one thing to talk about the Jurgen Klopps or whoever else who've been relegated and bounced back, but you learn those on the job under a lesser spotlight where maybe the stakes aren't as high, and you figure those things out. I don't think Bayern Munich is a club you go to figure things out.
It's all about how do you handle the pressure when it's not going well, because it happens to everybody. And he doesn't have the excuse of, well, the players aren't good enough for the Premier League. He doesn't have that anymore. And I think Xavi is a good example of the reason Xavi decided to leave Barcelona is because the pressure was getting to him. Because he came into it with no real CV either, did he? Let's be honest, at a top club. And Vincent Kompany is doing the same thing. He's gone into a huge club without the real depth of knowledge and serving his time, shall we put it that way, to know how to handle it when it's going wrong at such a big club. And that's the test. You know, he's got a lot of players in that Bayern Munich squad that have been there, seen it, done it. And so when he's telling them to do something, or he's trying to explain what he wants, and they're going, what? Hold on a second. Maybe this guy's not who we thought he was. But the biggest thing is, does he keep a cool head and does he keep a clear head when things are not quite working out? That's the biggest problem that's going on.
We start at Barcelona. Hansi Flick then officially the new coach. They go over from Xavi. Look at this, all very happy. Sign that paper, shake that hand, lovely. Everybody's in a good mood, clapping all round, smiling for pictures.
How long will it last?
This is what he had to say on day one.
The philosophy they have, it's similar like mine, so all possession and really attacking football. These are the things I love, and we work about that. Barcelona has one of the best academy in the world, and they have a good mix between experienced player and also the young talent player. And I think we have to improve them, that they can improve, and this is our job to work together with Deco, with the president Laporta. For me, it's very important, the teamwork.
For more on this, let's welcome in. Oh, look at all these people. Frank Leboeuf is with us, Gab Marcotti, but we'll start outside of Wembley. Archie Rintut is with us. Archie, say I'm a Barcelona fan. I've never heard of Hansi Flick before. All I care about is Barcelona. How would you describe him, his personality, and how would you describe his tactics?
I think they will have heard of him, given that he won the Champions League with Bayern in 2020.
I'm a real big Barcelona fan. I hate anyone else. I don't care about any other managers. I just care about
Play the game, Archie. Play the game.
Brilliant guy, isn't it?
I get it. I get what you're saying. Look, the high point of his time as a coach so far was winning the Champions League with Bayern in 2020. He was the long-time assistant to Joachim Löw in the German national team as well, so also a World Cup winner in 2014. But since winning the treble, indeed I think it was the sextuple if you count up all the trophies they ended up winning, including the Club World Cup, European Super Cup and the Super Cup after that, things went downhill for Hansi Flick, and his stock, I would say, has dropped significantly in Germany. Wasn't helped by the release of the All or Nothing documentary of the German 2022 World Cup campaign, where there's this famous scene where he's saying, "Let's learn from the geese." And you can see the players looking a little bit perplexed as to what's going on here. When it comes to his style of play, I would say what we saw at Bayern and indeed with the German national team is it's high-risk attacking football, and there was a lot of leaning on Alphonso Davies' pace to help bail them out at the back. But it was also trying to play to the strengths of the senior players. What he did was he got the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Thomas Müller, David Alaba on board, and Thiago as well, I would name in that Bayern side, and made sure to play to them. So I think Robert Lewandowski will be a winner out of this for sure. But the question mark for me over how he managed the German national team is how he dealt with all these big personalities and actually trying to fit too much in terms of the way that they played, and he couldn't ultimately, I think, make the right decisions. He tried to please everyone a little bit too much. So I'm surprised that Barcelona have moved for him. I think there are other more highly rated German coaches out there on the market right now. Julian Nagelsmann would have been an option, and I think that he would have probably been a better option for Barcelona had they wanted to go for him earlier in April. But I'm intrigued to see how this one works out.
This could be a disaster, isn't it, Gab?
Well, look, there's going to be a whole bunch of things which are beyond his control. You know, those things that Xavi talked about and that Laporta didn't like hearing, such as all the financial restrictions that they're going to have, and I'm not going to bore you with, but, you know, they're there, they're obvious. He's running out of levers to pull. I think that's one obvious one. The other obvious one is that, hey, it's great to have Lewandowski, but you know, Lewandowski is of a certain age now. Let's just put it that way. And he's in the final year of his contract. He likes to play, certainly, I mean, at Bayern, obviously, he liked to play this 4-2-3-1. And you look at Barcelona's players and, you know, do they have the wingers to do it? Because remember, when Xavi had that good spell before Gavi got injured, he kind of shoehorned Gavi in out on the wing. Now, Gavi's not a winger, but he played there and came inside. Is Flick prepared to do that? And if he's not, how do you fit? If you're playing 4-2-3-1, you've got 3 midfielders, 2 central and 1 attacking. How do you shoehorn Gundogan, De Jong, Pedri, and Gavi into the same lineup? They're just different players from the ones he had at Bayern when he was successful, different profiles of players. And a good coach will adapt his team to the players at his disposal. That's true. But, if they think they're getting the Bayern Flick, they won't. They're going to get a different Flick.
It's interesting, both Gab and Archie brought up Lewandowski. So let's talk about what Xavi said about him in an interview in Spain this week, talking about that he didn't really want him because he wasn't offering on the pitch what he needed, the high press and the energy, and off it as well, he wasn't particularly nice to some of the youngsters.
And if that is true, then that is understandable. The fact, Gab's talking about they're running out of levers. You probably could get a certain amount of money for Lewandowski, which means that gives you some sort of opportunity to bring somebody in.
But how do you handle? Right, say you can't say he's there. He's part of the squad. These are reports on the. What do you do with him when you're Flick? How do you address this situation?
The situation that Xavi was talking about?
Yes, yeah. So these are reports, aren't they, that Xavi and Lewandowski, they weren't on the same page for a lot of things.
That won't matter as soon as Flick walks through the door.
Because of the previous relationship.
Doesn't matter what Xavi said or Xavi did or Xavi thought. That's gone. That goes as soon as Xavi walks out that door or out that dressing room. That is gone. That doesn't matter. Now it's about how does Flick set the team up to get the best out of Lewandowski.
Right.
And everybody else. Not just Lewandowski, but the whole squad. He's got to figure out the best way to play to shoehorn everybody in order for them all to be successful whilst having Lewandowski as his number 9 and keeping him happy. Because, let's be honest, right now, he's still one of their main players. And being a main player, you've got to try and figure a way of keeping him happy, but supplying him and getting them goals. Is
that a problem for Barcelona that Lewandowski remains one of their main players, given obviously he's not getting any younger?
No, well, not with Flick as manager, given Flick's relationship with Lewandowski. Lewandowski has never been a striker who presses from the front. And yet, Hansi Flick was able to get the best out of, well, certainly him in his Bayern team in terms of those successes that Archie just mentioned. So that adjustment, I think, comes kind of naturally for Hansi Flick with Robert Lewandowski. I don't see that as being an issue. The other aspect to what Xavi said is...
Xavi hasn't said it. I better just get this straight before I get into trouble. I have to do another apology. Basically, these are reports.
I was reporting.
Yeah.
There's this exchange with Lamine Yamal that from earlier in the season between Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal, where Yamal doesn't square the ball to him, and then Lamine Yamal comes to kind of shake his hand in the box, and he just brushes him away. So I sympathise with that, and especially kind of given the importance of young players and the academy to Barcelona and making sure and bringing through those kinds of talents, and how Lamine Yamal has gone on to establish himself within that Barcelona team. So I think that is an aspect that needs to be managed, should I say, by Hansi Flick, especially given what he said in that clip about the importance of it. But again, kind of sympathizing with Xavi, as was reported, he said, I totally get it. A year left on his contract, he's getting older, you're not sure what his resale value is. Barcelona have financial constraints. If I were managing, if I were in charge, I would think of a way out from Lewandowski as well.
Frank, did you shout at the youngsters when you were getting old?
Of course not. You knew me. I was so nice to the youngest, So no, and it's true. And it's true. I remember, starting with Daniel van Buiten, who played for Bayern Munich after, and he was very young, and there was also Maite, who played also in England after, and Yobo, who played for Everton as well. And they were all very, very young. And you have to lead them. You have to help them. You have to explain to them how it works, and they're ready to listen to you. I think it was a mistake from Lewandowski That's sad that he was reacting that way, because youngers are ready to listen to you, especially if you are a star like Lewandowski. So they're going to be prepared to sacrifice themselves for you. And I think I wasn't very spot on what he did, if he did it. I used the youngest, I have to say, in my advantage, because they were listening to me, and because I had a lack of maybe pace or rhythm at some point, and they were there to compensate, and I had my experience to compensate their inexperience in that matter. So you have to work with them, you have to help them out, and they're going to serve you very well. I think Lewandowski has to change his mind about that, because he will need them even more next season than the past season.
As someone who's followed Lewandowski right through his career, Archie, do these reports surprise you?
Not particularly. He was known for having a strong opinion in Munich, and Julian Nagelsmann found that out after Hansi Flick left, because he was not happy with the way that Nagelsmann was wanting him to do a lot more work in the build-up instead of just letting him be in the box and do his business. Because let's not forget that the Bundesliga record of most goals in a season was set by Lewandowski under Hansi Flick. And as Harry Kane found out this season, it is still a pretty impressive record to have set. So the thing about Hansi Flick is, I think that he really will place an emphasis on trying to put an arm around players, and he will at the same time still be close to Lewandowski. And Lewandowski, I'm sure, will have had a word with the club about Hansi Flick and given him his recommendation about it. So I think that Lewandowski is somebody who doesn't shy away from saying his opinion, but it's also because he can do that because he delivers on the pitch and has done, and that gives you a certain authority, I think, in these situations, even if I think from the outside looking in, you're thinking, is there a need to necessarily undermine younger players, as is being reported?
Time now for Back Pages tonight here on Sky Sports News, bringing you a first look at the sports stories in the morning's newspapers. And joining us tonight are Martin Ziegler from The Times and the Daily Mail's Craig Hope. Evening to you both. Let's quickly run everyone through the back pages then, starting with the back of the Sun, which says stuff your World Cup, cop slot for Ollie and Tyson's jingle bell. The back of Craig's paper, The Mail, says Arteta jackpot and the 8 elite staff set to join Enzo at Chelsea. Front of the Times says Ratcliffe's culture shock. Scheffler, the officer hit me. AI bid to cut off side delays, and Świątek beats Osaka in Paris Classic. Back of the Star, fantasy football, Tyson's cracker, Klopp, Sancho pop, and United in for Felix. And as for The Guardian, let the adventures begin. Co-warns Olympic drug cheats won't sleep easily, and Świątek digs deep to deny Osaka. So plenty to get through. Let's just finish on the Telegraph. Money, no, that is not why I came to Saudi. Big picture of Steven Gerrard there. And Wembley put on alert for pro-Palestine fan protests. OK, as I mentioned, plenty to get through. We're going to start with the back of the Sun. Stuff your World Cup. Prem Chief, PFA, turn on FIFA. Martin, this looks like the competition that might have broken the camel's back in terms of player workload, and people are fighting back over this. What do you make of it?
Yeah, this is FIFA's new 32-team Club World Cup being played in a year's time in the United States. I mean, it's like another World Cup, but this time it's for clubs. And yeah, the PFA, the International Players Union, FIFA Pro, all the European leagues, world leagues are up in arms about it. And there is a meeting tomorrow in London. Richard Masters will be there. The PFA will be there. La Liga president Javier Tebas will be there. They will make their displeasure very, very known, very loud and clear.
Just how much of a bloody nose, Craig, might this be for FIFA?
Well,
I was speaking to a contact relatively recently who was actually attached to UEFA, and they said, be under no illusions here. FIFA want this to be, in time, as big as the World Cup. Now, they really do have grand ambitions about this. Indeed, borrow your phrase there, Dave. Bloody knows, absolutely, this is what they're going to emerge with tomorrow, because I think clubs have looked at it, and certainly, you look at it from your own perspective as well. We don't need a Club World Cup. I'm okay with the Euros. I'm okay with the World Cup. I'm okay with the Champions League. We've got enough. Ask Martin as well. Even as journalists, our season now doesn't end. We're into the Champions League this weekend. Then we're into the Euros. Then you're into your pre-season tours in Japan and America, wherever else. You come back and you're into the Premier League. So there's no space in the calendar for a Club World Cup, as much as FIFA may argue otherwise. And more so, I think the point they'll make is it's the toll on the players' bodies. Just look at the Premier League this year. We've had an unprecedented number of injuries, really. We're going into a Euros now where England have got a back four that was suspect anyway, limping into the Euros because of fitness issues, because of overload. And we don't need a Club World Cup, be that in terms of the schedule, the load on players. Culturally, we don't need a Club World Cup. It's okay being in the Middle East somewhere in December where we barely notice it and we don't tune in. So I hope the Premier League and La Liga and all the others do make a point, and I think they are right to do so.
Martin, picking up on Craig's point about the workload on players. I mean, we're seeing it already, aren't we, with no replays in the FA Cup. We've seen Manchester United, Newcastle in particular, those squads being decimated with injuries. Do you think this could even go further and club and competitions like maybe the Carabao Cup start to become under threat as well, as players start to kind of fight back about workload?
Yeah, I'm sure sooner or later the Carabao Cup will go, but I think that will be tied into sort of money from the Premier League. I mean, one thing I would say about this sort of threatened boycott is you ask Chelsea, you ask Manchester City, the two English clubs who are in this tournament, are they going to pass up the chance of getting 30-40 million pounds if that's what it is, and that's what they've been promised? No, they're going to go for it. The players will go for it, because money talks. And yes, we've got a situation now. We've got the Euros, Copa America, we've got the Olympic football tournament, straight back into the Premier League, and then going to the Club World Cup again next summer. I mean, it is crazy, but people find it difficult to say no.
OK, staying with the Sun, alongside that Stuffy World Cup is a Cop slot for Ollie, Craig. Looks like Liverpool could be interested in signing Ollie Watkins, which would be a huge transfer if it happened.
Yeah, and you can see why as well. Liverpool have had a long recent history now of signing wonderful wide players. We've seen Mo Salah, the success he had, Sadio Mane, and even the guys they've brought in more recently. The one position they've actually struggled with, and Roberto Firmino was excellent, but he was a different type of player to Ollie Watkins. They've since brought in Darwin Núñez. His struggles are well documented. A goal scorer, a fox in the box type, for want of a better phrase, and Ollie Watkins is that. 19 Premier League goals, I think it is this season, going to be in the England squad, going to the Euros, still of an age, I think, 28, where he's probably got a good 3-4 years at his very best ahead of him. And I think this one could potentially make a lot of sense for what Liverpool need, just to bridge that gap. They only finished a few points behind, but certainly when you look at the makeup of their team and an area you can identify where they could potentially be short, it would probably be a Watkins type player through the middle.
OK, from players to managers, and it is a bit of a manager merry-go-round at the minute, but I'm going to come to you, Craig, because this is at the back of your paper, the Mail, Arteta jackpot. So this involving a manager going nowhere. Obviously, Mikel Arteta, it would be in huge demand, but Arsenal manager's salary to skyrocket closer to Pep's £20 million. This is by your colleague Sammy Mockbell. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, and I think it's necessary and it's warranted as well. You look at Arsenal now, and there's a style there. There's a clear identity. There is a core of elite level players. You look at the two centre backs into midfield and out wide, the areas with Saka and Martinelli. What are they missing? Well, this talks to the previous discussion we've just had about a striker, a central striker, and if Arsenal did have one of those this season, they only finished 2 points behind Manchester City. I think they scored 5 goals less than Manchester City. If they'd had that striker, that goal scorer, those extra 5 goals might just have been the difference between finishing second and finishing first. So while we see Liverpool potentially interested in Ollie Watkins. What price Arsenal enter in the race as well? I know it'll cost a lot of money, but you look at that is the one position they're missing. But to go back to the story from my colleague Sammy, Arteta's had a brilliant couple of years there after what was a sticky enough start. But you look at him now there, he's convincing. I think he's erudite in how he addresses the press. I think he's got his players' backs. I think he's got the best interests of the club at heart. And whatever he wants in terms of pay and remuneration, reward, I think Arsenal should give it to him. I think they really have got an elite level manager there.
OK, we're going to move to your paper, Martin, to the Times. Ratcliffe's culture shock. United to encourage communal working with training ground revamp and tell staff to be frugal. This from your colleagues Paul Hurst and Charlotte Dunker. I mean, is this what's needed at Manchester United, this complete kind of overhaul in the culture of the place?
Well, I mean, clearly that's what Ineos think. I think some of the details of this are fascinating. That they're going to have the manager is going to have a sort of communal workspace and try and make things more sort of get everybody together and have more of a sort of team atmosphere. I mean, I don't think Fergie perhaps would have welcomed that. He was very much a man who liked to have his own office, and so this is going to be, whoever, whether it's going to be Ten Hag, whether somebody else comes in. I think it's going to be really interesting just to see whether this sort of new culture that Ineos is bringing actually has an effect on the team. Or I mean, the other thing they want to is make sure employees treat the club's money as preciously as there was their own. So whether they think that things have been a bit spendthrift, that's clearly the message they're getting.
Yeah, of course, they spent 80-odd million on Casemiro. But just how do you think Jim Ratcliffe has gone so far, Craig?
Well, they haven't made a very impressive start, have they? They don't have a sporting director. They don't have a CEO. Probably come this time next week, they won't have a manager. If you speak to people in the game, there's a suspicion, and we wrote this in the Mail last week, that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos don't yet quite grasp the football industry. You've only got to look at their handling of trying to get Dan Ashworth out of Newcastle. The story I wrote last week in the Mail about Dan Ashworth inadvertently sending an email to his own Newcastle email address, his account, revealing the clandestine talks with Omar Barada, who was still on gardening leave at Manchester City. So it's all a little bit of a mess so far. And there's other stories as well about, stripping back the benefits around FA Cup tickets for existing staff and the whole experience there. So far, from a PR perspective, the image we're getting of what they're going in and doing there, it hasn't been great so far. And, as I said at the top of the answer there, the key positions which they spoke so much about and how important these guys were going to be and getting them in place as quickly as they possibly can. Well, Barada's not coming in until July, and Dan Ashworth, well, goodness knows when that will be. My information is it will be, if not next year, the end of this year at the earliest, really. So yeah, not a great start, and you only hope these cultural changes they're trying to implement are well received inside the building, because Martin touched on some of the details there, and it does raise one or two eyebrows, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Let's have a look at United on the pitch then, trying to strengthen up their playing squad. A story in the back of the Star says United in for Felix, that João Felix, considering a swap deal involving Mason Greenwood and Portuguese star João Felix, Atletico Madrid and Portuguese star. I mean, he didn't have a particularly auspicious 6 months loan at Chelsea. Martin, is he the answer to their problems on the pitch?
No, I don't think it is, to be honest. I'm quite surprised that this has even been considered by United. But I mean, I think one thing's for sure: they can't take Mason Greenwood back, so they need to try and do something to. But João Felix, he's an enigma, isn't he? I mean, he's built up as this incredibly talented player, and he does show flashes of that. But you just don't get that return. Even for this season for Barcelona, he's been on loan. He's been very hit and miss. So it's, I think if you're Manchester United, you want somebody who's going to definitely deliver, and I'm not sure that is João Felix.
Okay, staying with the Star and the Klopp-Sancho pop. This by David Anderson. Jurgen Klopp has aimed a parting shot at Manchester United's Erik ten Hag over his treatment of Jadon Sancho. Craig, you've watched a bit of Borussia Dortmund where Sancho has played really well, but it's an interesting kind of timing of this comment from Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, well, I did both legs of the semi-final, Dortmund against PSG, and you travel out there for the first leg, and you're very mindful of falling into the trap of what would be an easy narrative. You know, Jadon Sancho back at Dortmund in a semi-final, playing well on the verge of a final, 2 fingers to Man United. You know, I was guarded against that, and then I watched him over the 2 games, and I thought, no, he genuinely was fantastic. He looks like a completely different player, especially in the second leg out in Paris when Dortmund needed someone to alleviate the pressure, to take the ball, to carry the ball, to take players on, to play in the transition. Honestly, I had Sancho over the 2 legs as my best player. You know, you certainly put Kylian Mbappe in the shade, and sometimes a player, and I think this is what Klopp was alluding to, sometimes a player needs love, an arm around the shoulder, be that from a manager, be that from a crowd. And I think at Dortmund, Jadon Sancho is getting both. And if I was him, I would honestly stay there. You know, it's quite incredible. If you'd have said 6 months ago there'll be 2 English players in the Champions League semi-final this weekend, you would have had a fair gamble on Jude Bellingham being one. You would never have imagined the other would be Jadon Sancho. And not just that, he's going there on merit and he's going there playing well, having put Dortmund in that position. So all the best to him, and I hope that they do find a way for him to remain out there next year.
Welcome back. You're watching Back Pages tonight. And also, big welcome back to Martin Ziegler from The Times and the Daily Mail's Craig Hope. And Craig, we're going to come to you. The back of the mirror, goals to Newcastle. Your patch, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Everton need to sell because of profit and sustainability regulations. I mean, they've got some pretty good strikers with the likes of Wilson and Isak and whatnot. Calvert-Lewin, good signing?
Wouldn't have said so. You know, I think Eddie Howe's preference is to try and keep Callum Wilson this summer. He sees a greater need elsewhere in the squad, you know, notably right wing, perhaps new goalkeeper and centre halves as well. Now, I'll be surprised, I must admit, you know, Eddie Howe does like Calvert-Lewin. Now, they've inquired about him before in previous windows. This story, I think, first dropped last week. My information then was, you know, yes, he is on a list, but he's not at the top of a list, and it wouldn't be a priority. Now, Calvert-Lewin's first goal, I think it was, in however many games, actually came at St James's Park earlier in the season after a long drought. He's got fitness problems. I would be very surprised if this was the case. I'm not ruling out. I don't want to, knock down the story without checking it elsewhere first. But certainly, my latest information was that they were looking elsewhere for now.
OK, we're going to stay with the back of the mirror and a story about Jurgen Klopp, who says, I'd have been axed at the Blues. We've already touched upon him having a bit of a pop at Erik ten Hag and Jadon Sancho. Looks, Martin, like he's had a bit of a pop at Chelsea's owners and the way they kind of get rid of managers, saying that if he'd have been there, he wouldn't have lasted as long.
Yeah, I think he made the point, didn't he? This was at a sort of a farewell evening event with the comedian John Bishop and others, and I think he basically pointed out the fact that Mauricio Pochettino had just turned things around and then delivered European football next season from a sort of fairly low starting point, and suddenly he was out the door. And I think Klopp was making the point that you have to be almost superhuman to survive, I think.
OK, we're going to go to the Telegraph, and this is a Stevie Gerrard story. Money, no, that is not why I came to Saudi. He makes the point that he was financially secure quite a while ago, Craig. So why did he go to Saudi?
Well, I do enjoy the headline, and the first quote, as you know, as you've just touched on there, I am financially secure. And then he goes on to say, did money play a part? Well, yes, it played a part. Of course it played a part. Why else would he go to Saudi Arabia? And it's disappointing, really, because when Gerrard first went up to Glasgow Rangers, great story up there, did a brilliant job. I was dispatched from the northeast to cover him most weeks. Did his first game at Aberdeen, went around Europe with him, and I was so impressed. I used this word earlier with Arteta. I thought he was really erudite and convincing in his delivery. He did a brilliant job there. He got recruitment right. He had a good team around him, and he stopped Celtic winning the 10 in a row, And I just think the next job, when he went to Aston Villa there, I was just so disappointed in him because I was really convinced by this guy. He went to Villa, made mistakes, reputation took a hell of a hit, and I dare say if he'd actually stayed in Scotland with Rangers, he might actually be the Liverpool manager. He might actually be the Liverpool manager incoming now. So to go to Saudi Arabia, you can almost map his and Jordan Henderson's journey, as a parallel in many ways. It hasn't worked out for Henderson. I don't think it's necessarily going to work out for Gerrard. He's probably going to have to come back to Europe or back to the UK in some form and rebuild that reputation. So I don't think he will do it in Saudi Arabia. And you look on and you think, the prime reason, the prime motivation probably is money, as much as the headline does suggest otherwise. So no, it's a shame, given how good and how brilliant a start he made to his management career up at Rangers, that he has ended up at this juncture. Because I undoubtedly think, now his stock has taken a hell of a hit.
Yeah, Martin, do you think he can come again, Gerrard? And wouldn't you prefer that some of these sporting stars, be it live golfers or boxers or footballers, to just come out and say, you know what, the money was too good to turn down?
Yeah, I mean, some of the golfers have said that. So yes, I think Gerrard, as Craig says, Gerrard basically did say that, didn't he? But I think the interview does say that he was offered a couple of championship club jobs and decided to go to Saudi instead. But I think that for somebody, if he wants to make it, to put what happened at Villa behind him and have another shot at the Premier League, then he should really have, dropped down a level, try to get some promotion with a championship club, make his mark there as he did with Rangers, and then I'm sure, because he's not that experienced and he needs to learn. But going to Saudi Arabia, I don't think another Premier club is just going to take him on like that.
OK, we're going to stay with you, Martin, because this is your story in the Times. AI bid to cut offside delays, harness artificial intelligence and force fields. Tell us more about this. Sounds fascinating.
Yeah, the Premier League, they've signed a deal with a company called Second Spectrum, an American tech company, and instead of the sort of limb tracking which tracks, I think, 36 points in a player's body, this new system tracks apparently 10,000 parts of the body, and with 200 times a second, and basically provides a sort of moving 3D image. And it creates a sort of effective force field that when an attacker goes in front of the defender, the artificial intelligence recognises this and then sends a message saying he's offside. So this is going to come into the Premier League next season, starting from one of the autumn international breaks.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. We're going to move to a story about Jude Bellingham in the back of the Star. Fantasy football, Craig, playing to the gallery. Bellingham has been inspired by pictures of Real's European Cup heroes at the Bernabeu. I mean, this season couldn't have gone any better for him. He's still very aware of where he kind of falls in the pantheon of Real Madrid greats.
When he talks, he's just, I used that word earlier, he's so convincing. He's almost as impressive off the pitch as he is on the pitch, perhaps even more so off it, given the tenderness of his years. And he's always been like that. I've covered a little bit of Real Madrid. I was out there for the derby, what was it, 3-4 months ago when he scored the 2 late goals there, and just wow, to go there at his age and to have the charisma and to take all of that pressure and all of that expectation on his shoulders and not just meet it, but to take it to a different level as well. And you go into the Champions League final on Saturday, and you wouldn't be at all surprised if he's the individual to dictate the game and ultimately settle, which way it goes. And then you go into the Euros as well. And there's Harry Kane, of course. Harry Kane has been there before with England and not quite done it. But this is Jude Bellingham, the first time really when we're seeing this version of Jude Bellingham, the Real Madrid superstar, going there with the country, with England's hopes resting on his shoulders. And wow, what a double that would be. And you wouldn't bet against it, because everything about the guy just screams just class, excellent, brilliant, pedigree, elite. He really is wonderful.
OK, gentlemen, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you. Just in the back of The Guardian, they're talking about let the adventures beginning. Bompasta aims to emulate Hayes as new Chelsea manager. And there's quite a bit in the papers as well about Tyson Fury and his rematch with Alexander Usyk.
And it does look as though Enzo Maresca is very likely to become Chelsea's new head coach. These are the papers in England. Blues make ends meet. Blues tie up loose ends. So everyone going with the same old pun there when it comes to Enzo Maresca. But when it comes to you two guys, the last time we actually saw you, Kieran McKenna was the front runner. Things have changed somewhat.
The front runner for Man United and Chelsea, but you know, he's at a club where he's progressing in Ipswich and his stock's high, and that would have been a big risk for one so inexperienced. I believe he signed a new contract there, so he's staying. It'll still be tough for him to stay in the Premier League, but at least he's got some stability there. This is Chelsea all over, isn't it? This is Chelsea all over. I mean, Enzo Maresca has had one season, right? One season at Leicester City. Yes, they got promoted, they had an unbelievable amount of points, but they went down. The three teams that went down, two of them came straight back up, and Leeds obviously didn't come up because they're playing Southampton. So that tells you they're already the strongest teams in the division, and they come back up as a team that finished 18th in the Premier League, so they were the third worst team to go down. They weren't Southampton, who were at the bottom. So what does that tell you? It tells you that, you know, all right, it's not as simple as that all round. You go down, you come back up. But it tells you they were one, if not the strongest squad in the Premier League, in the Championship. And he's had 1 year, and now he's walking into the Chelsea job. That tells you everything you need to know about Chelsea, doesn't it?
I was listening to Gab last night, and he used the word pliable. I think it was the word he used. Manipulatable is probably a better word, because that seems...
I'm not sure that's a word.
It is now.
Who, the board?
Manipulatable.
Who's manipulatable?
Maresca. You know, they've had Tuchel, who's won a Champions League. They've had the young guy in Potter, who's had success in the Premier League. Then they get Poch, the so-called "this is the guy." They get rid of him as well. And all the arguments, certainly that Gab and I had, was about they're looking for somebody who they can manipulate. I think that's a word.
I think manipulatable is actually a word.
So that's what this looks like. This absolutely looks like a guy who, if Vincent Kompany can get the Bayern Munich job, then there's no reason why this guy can't get a Chelsea job.
So he's a yes man, is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying a yes man, I'm saying exactly what I meant. He can be manipulated by the people above, because they've basically come out and said it. Gab said that's what they've been talking about. They need somebody. They've got a plan, and they want to do things a certain way, and they need a manager who's aligned with them. If that doesn't say manipulate, I don't know what does.
He's unlikely to throw a straw, is he?
So that suits them then, having a head coach and letting them do their part.
So what are you going to do if they fail?
But it goes back to the initial point. This is Chelsea. This is trying to get amongst the elite again, and not only in English football, but in European football. And they're hiring a manager who was sacked at Parma, and his only other job as a manager in Serie B, by the way, he got dismissed. He was, and here's I think what is probably one of the things that's happened here out with the Leicester City job for a year, is somebody's told these. I need to choose the word for the Chelsea hierarchy carefully. Muppets. I thought about it, and then I thought about going down a different route, and I chose not to do that. Somebody's told them, because they don't know, most of them. Oh, this guy worked with Pep. Look at Arteta, he worked with Pep. Others, they worked with Pep. Okay, this is what we'll do. Another Pep disciple. And it's such a big job at Chelsea, and I'm not. Look, it might work. But I go back to it. Where's the credentials to get this Chelsea job? 1 year at Leicester City, a team that were arguably the favourites to come back up, having finished the strongest of the three.
It's still not easy to get back out of the Championship.
No, it's not easy, but you telling me one year getting promoted with a Premier League squad is the remit to get the Chelsea job. That's what I'm saying. So good luck to him. You know, I'm not saying I don't care either way. I'm just giving you the facts of the scenario here.
I would love to have seen I actually didn't. I'm sure there was. I would love to have seen the press conference when somebody asked, you know, why are you signing? Why is Maresca the man for the job? The press conference wouldn't have taken long, would it? I mean, really, why? Are we just talking that he got promoted with a team that, no question, should have been fighting for promotion? Just because of the squad they had, that is enough to get the Chelsea job? I mean, after that, what is it? What's the big deal? What is the big reason that you get Maresca?
Because there's nothing official yet, obviously. We can maybe ask our journalists to answer that question.
The other thing is, you know, I think...
You never answered the question, though. You know what I mean? There's not...
Yeah.
After what was Craig's just brought up about getting promoted, there's no other reason. There's not one other. Well, this is Chelsea. This is a team that were perennial, going for Champions League and Premier Leagues. Definitely, no question, being fourth, getting in the top four was just about acceptable. But now they're going and signing a guy who's got absolutely no real CV of any real note.
But in some sense, it's quite a smart move for him. Unlike Kieran McKenna, who I thought was a bit risky, Chelsea, Man United. And the reason I say that is, at least at Ipswich has had back-to-back years of promotions, which is an amazing achievement. And there is some stability now at Ipswich. At Leicester, they have been promoted knowing that they have financial and points deductions coming their way in the Premier League. So they're already going in with a big sign that says, we have no chance of staying up, literally. Maybe, but probably not. So Enzo Maresca, in that scenario, because some of these owners looking and going, well, you need to keep us up, even if we get deducted 6 points, 8 points and fined, whatever, he's probably staring at the sack in the face. So he's probably thought to himself, do you know what? This is all coming our way. I'm fighting that. I'm fighting to build a squad to get in the Premier League. We don't have the money to do that. We're going to get deducted points. My head's in the block anyway. I might as well get sacked at Chelsea and get 3 times my money.
Fantastic move.
It's a brilliant one, bearing in mind Leicester's scenario and financial problems. But from Chelsea, this is typical of them. I mean, come on. They're looking to hire the elite of the elite. That's what Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Tottenham, all these big clubs in England and around the world, that's what they're trying to do. They don't generally go to a manager who's had basically in England 1 year been promoted with one of the strongest teams and go, tell you what, you're the man for me. The only other reason I keep bringing it up is because they can't think outside the box, and he's worked for Pep. I tell you what, it'd be great to work for Pep, wouldn't it? You just go and work for Guardiola for a few years and go, hey.
But if they are wanting to implement that philosophy of football...
What philosophy? They haven't got a philosophy.
Pep's philosophy of football, if they're hoping he'll bring it's not just about him working under them, is it?
So why didn't they do that? Why is it taking them 3 managers to get one that's got Pep's philosophy, if that's what they're after? That's the problem. It's hard to figure out what these guys want. When they got rid of Tuchel, it was because they didn't like what he was doing with the team. When they got rid of Potter, they didn't like what he was doing with the team. They've got rid of Pochettino because, well, we don't like what he's doing with the team. We don't think he's taking them forward enough. Like, they've got all these ideas, and if the idea is to turn them into a Pep team, then why you made 3 completely different signings before you go to this guy? It doesn't make any sense what they do.
What do they need in their current state then, in terms of a manager? What profile of a manager would be best there right now?
What they need is to sort themselves out behind the scenes. I mean, what I heard a week or so ago was I can't remember which journal it was. I think it was Augie. They have co-sporting directors. Yep. Because they'd hired one and then there was a gardening leave issue and then they were hired another one, and I tell you what, we'll just combine the roles. That tells you all you need to know. So I don't know what they need. I mean, at least they need some continuity. But as Stevie said, Tuchel, Potter, not a bad manager. Neither's Tuchel, by the way. Potter's not bad, Pochettino's not bad. And now they go down this route of hiring a championship manager. By the way, you know, they did win promotion, but if you go back 2 or 3 months, some of the Leicester fans wanted them out. Because they looked as if they were going to chuck this huge lead they had in the championship. Good luck to Enzo Maresca, absolutely. Listen, but come on, this leap from where he's been managing to managing this club is not. It's not there. It's there.
But with who's around right now, who wouldn't make you go, oh, no way? Like, what name could I give you where you'd go, okay, fair enough, that could be a good fit?
Again, it's probably it's come for him in particular at a time when there are so many so-called big jobs available without any supposed real candidates. That's what you've got to say about this right now. That again, we keep coming back to the same thing. You know, what has he done to deserve this? Well, again, the choices after him are not many, and so that's why a guy with his CV ends up getting an opportunity, a possible opportunity, to manage such a big club.
Because they've already sacked all the others.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and listen, good luck to him. And
Yeah,
he has to go in and work with these. He has to go in and work with these players and get the respect of some of these players, and a lot of youngsters there. But this is chalk and cheese from what he's been doing. But again, this just tells you all you need to know about the way that this club has been run. It doesn't think about where it's putting its next foot forward. It just launches it forward, and then that's the way to go until we decide to backtrack. So we'll see. But as I say, good luck to him. I think he's going to need it at that club.
You may have heard that Arne Slot is the man to replace Jurgen Klopp next season. Yes, Stevie, just in case you didn't know. He's been hiding under a rock somewhere. We've got Dutch football expert Marciano Vink with us now. Very happy to have you with us, Marciano. So tell us, Arne Slot, what can we expect from him at Liverpool?
Now, first of all, I want to say that it's going to be really a tough job to replace Jurgen Klopp, because he did excellent at Liverpool. But I think the directors did a good job, and they did their homework, you know, like looking at the stats of Arne Slot, looking at what kind of person he is. And there's a lot of similarities with Jurgen Klopp. Arne Slot, he came 3 years ago to Feyenoord, and he made them believe that they could win silverware, and he showed them how. And especially, he raised the bar in Holland, and he made it difficult for a lot of teams in Holland. He won the championship, he won the cup, he reached the Conference League final, and he did it all with a small budget. And this guy is the real deal. I think I've seen lots of managers and seen a lot of people interacting with the press, and this guy is a cool customer. He's really, really good.
What's the reaction been then in the Netherlands, Marciano, to his appointment?
Everybody knew that he was leaving the club this year. Last year, Tottenham came and they really wanted to sign him, but he wanted to finish the project with Feyenoord. This guy's a loyal guy, and he finished his contract, and he did better than last year. He didn't reach the Europa League final. He didn't become the champions because PSV Eindhoven was this year better. But the way he plays with Feyenoord, the style of play is so attractive. So everybody knew he was going, and then to a big club as Liverpool, yeah, that was, we say, the cherry on the cake for him, and also for all the Dutch people, but because we're really proud that he's going to a club like Liverpool.
Do you think he'll be more suited to the Premier League than Erik ten Hag, Marciano?
Yeah, Erik, I said like 2 years ago that Erik ten Hag was a really good manager, and I think he proved in the first year that he's capable of working in the Premier League. But this year, I don't know. He had a lot of injuries. I agree on that. You know, he's talking about the injuries a lot. But especially the players he had and he could put in the first 11, they didn't perform. I don't know if the players let him down, or he didn't have the tactics, or he doesn't have the ability to convince the players of how the style he wants to play. I don't know where something is going wrong in Manchester, but it doesn't look too good for him now. He won the FA Cup, good for him, but I think the owners, they have to decide whether they want to give him another year so he can finish his contract and prove that he's a good manager. I still believe that he can succeed in the Premier League. But, things haven't been going his way, especially in the league.
I think Mr. Ten Hag's struggles this year it's not been great timing for Arne Slot in terms of perception. But that's a very generalisation. That's probably more from a fan.
It's true, though.
It is true that, but it's more probably from a fans and maybe some media. I don't know. The perception would be, guy comes in from Ajax, good first year, now he's struggling like hell to save his job and they've been terrible. Yeah, they won the FA Cup. Well, what can this guy do? And that's kind of apples and oranges, isn't it? In a way, because it's completely different. But I think in a sense that, it's an outside the box in a sense way of going about it for Liverpool. I think it is quite exciting. It's going to be intriguing to watch. And what Erik Ten Hag has done at Man United bears no resemblance in what Arne Slot will do. And you talked about obviously the comparison between the Dutch managers. There's a complete difference in what Slot is walking into, to be fair, into what Erik Ten Hag walked into. Not that there's not some fires to fight at Liverpool, there is, but that club, albeit it has some financial restraints, is on a very, very good footing. And you really couldn't say that about Man United, both when Ten Hag took over, or indeed even since the investment of Ineos.
It's just impossible not to look and see what's happened over the last 12 months at Manchester United and think, wow, are we going to get Ten Hag Mark II? I would suggest that what Arne Slot has in his favour is the way that his teams have played the game. They're very similar to the philosophy of Klopp. They want to go forward quick, they want to squeeze people, they want to do it at a fast pace. I mean, these are all things that he's walking into. Whereas I think Ten Hag, yes, he had a decent first year, but it was a completely different way of playing, and he had to kind of teach his United team how he wanted the game to be played. I think Slot's walking into a different scenario. Yes, there are some questions that have to be asked with the current Liverpool squad, but the basics of the way he plays, that squad that he's walking into is used to doing that. That has to be a huge advantage.
To be fair, just before we back to Marciano, Erik Ten Hag, to be fair to him, his Ajax side was very good to watch. You think about that side that lost, and it should have been in the Champions League final, but it really, it was a great semi-final. Tottenham came back, credit to them, but they had it. They were the better side for long periods and they played some great stuff. And that was a difficult transition for him coming into that United side. To be fair to Ten Hag, to try and come in and do all that stuff that he was doing at Ajax with this United side. Whereas that's not quite as easy at Liverpool, but as Stevie said, you're kind of halfway there already, where at Man United, he was not.
Yeah, I think we've lost Marciano for a moment, but hopefully we'll get him back in just a second.
I tell you what, if I was listening to us two as well, I would have pulled the plug.
No, I think he was actually nodding along, agreeing with what
he was starting off. No, he was sleeping.
Oh, he's back. He's back. Before I think he's back. Yeah, we can go see Marciano. Hello.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what you thought of what the guys were saying there. What did you make of it?
No, I agree that Erik Ten Hag, Ajax played some marvelous football, but he had the players he could teach, and without any baggage, without any history. And he brought in my opinion, he brought in the wrong players. He paid a lot of money for the wrong players who couldn't do what he really wanted. And now he's like in a state where he really wants to put out his ideas, but he doesn't have the players to do so. At Ajax, he had youngsters, he had experienced players, but all they were facing one way, and that's winning the Champions League, winning the league, dominating. But with this Man United, you can't dominate. There are too many players with a lot of baggage, with a lot of experience from other managers, playing at other clubs. And then this guy comes and tries to drill tactics. And I'm not sure whether this team is balanced. enough to do whatever he wants. And I must agree that Arne Slot is coming into a club where they already play the style of play he wants to play. And I think he will put some Slot manners, you know, to put some Slot ideas into the team. For example, Trent Alexander-Arnold will be having a blast because he can go into midfield. They want to create a +1 in midfield. They want to play with wingers, or he wants to play with wingers. And the whole team attacks, so it's going to be a challenge for Virgil van Dijk, whether he wants to dribble into midfield, creating situations. So I think it's a lot of similarities with Jurgen Klopp, but on the other hand, this guy plays some attractive football. And can he do it in the Premier League? I think so. Can he do it with this team? I do believe that he can do it. So the only similarity with Ten Hag and Arne Slot is that they're both Dutch. Otherwise, it's a total different ballgame.
Well, I would hope they wouldn't push, Arne Slot wouldn't push the boat out for somebody like an Anthony, who Erik Ten Hag pushed the boat out for. And you know, if rumours are to be believed, he was 30 or 40 million, and he said, no, this guy, we need this guy, we need this guy, we need this guy. Yeah. And they paid way over the top for him, and he struggled badly, in fact, struggled so much. They play kids before him, he comes off the bench, he's not alone. I don't know if Ten Hag pushed for Mason Mount, but somebody did. And not that Mason Mount is a bad player, he's had an injury ravaged season, but it really wasn't a position you thought they need to go and spend 70 million on.
No.
So I think the important thing is whoever's recruiting the players in the family slot is having an input. You'd imagine he is, that they're getting their signings right, because some of the signings obviously before Ten Hag got there were poor, and after Ten Hag got there were poor. But on another sort of, just drifting off slightly on a different side here, what are we now, Tuesday? Lost track of days.
Tuesday. Yep.
And Manchester United, can I just say before we go any further, Manchester United, right, are an absolute disgrace, right? If this was the Glazers running the football department, we'd be saying, this is horrendous. Glazers know nothing about football. How can you leave the guy hanging? Ten Hag, come on, most people know he's probably going to be sacked. Well, now Tuesday, we're 3 days after the FA Cup final, and everybody's still hanging, probably the manager. If the Glazers were doing that, people would be saying absolutely clueless. So what is Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos and Brailsford and all these people doing?
Busy talking to other managers, apparently.
Well, it don't matter, you can still sack a manager and talk to other managers if that's what you're going to do. And if you're not going to sack him, then make a statement and say, hey, we're not sacking him, and this is what we're doing, and that's it.
To be honest, it really doesn't, it really shouldn't have anything to do with whether they're talking to other managers or not. The guy, you either think the guy is going to take them from where they are right now to the end of next season, at least a top 4 spot, maybe challenging for whatever. That's how you're figuring out whether Ten Hag's staying. Not talking to other managers, and then if they all say no, then we're going to keep him. You've got to figure out, is this guy good enough for us or not? And as Craig said, this should have been Monday morning. Let them celebrate winning the cup, but then on Monday, right, we get down to business, and we're making a statement of where this club is going. And what do? Nothing.
Does that give Man United fans any hope that it's not going to be wishy-washy? Down.
My apologies. lost a game in the league for quite some time. The 11th of March, they lost against Montreal at home. And since that point forward, it's really been all smooth sailing. Towards the midway point of the defensive half, this time is Kvitsov. And Viles, central right-hand side. Kick-off underway here at the Chase Stadium. He's with Kvitsov once more. On the right-hand side for Aviles, looks further right for Weingart, and Atlanta United enforcing a very staunch press forward. Weingart was brought to ground, but play continues there. Redondo towards our central left-hand side. Here is Jordi Alba past halfway. Looks towards that left-hand touchline. It's Robert Taylor. Champion onto his left. It's back with Jordi Alba. Short towards Redondo. Redondo, central left-hand side for Jordi Alba. Plays it back to Redondo. Just came off the bench against Vancouver over the weekend. Roll squares towards Messi with a great ball towards that left-hand side. Can be kept in by Jordi Alba again, approaching the byline. It's Jordi Alba now with the cross. It's right into the feet of Brooks Lennon. And it's going to be up for an Inter Miami throw-in. Jordi Alba to take. Throws it back up a step, but it's been picked up by Atlanta United. They look to swing forward now on this right-hand side. Kvitsov's putting a foot in and gives away the free kick. Just in their defensive half at Atlanta United on that right-hand side. The Ukrainian just utilising a bit too much force. It looks like it was on Jamal Tiao. He'll just get back up to his feet. He's got a big point to prove. Jamal Tiao. Long ball is played forward towards that right-hand side. It's with Brooks Lennon. Just in line with the right side of the penalty area, should I say. Well, back into midfield for Muyumba. And centre circle. And the ball played forward towards that right flank. Can't be touched in by Atlanta United on that right-hand side. And more pertinently for Brooks Lennon. Now we'll see the throw-in taken by Jordi Alba. Throws short towards Suarez. He's tracked back extremely deep and he plays it back into the penalty area for Kvitsov. Now it's with Tomas Aviles playing it slightly forward for Gressel. Back in Weingart in the box. It's with Tomas Aviles. Now it's with Serhii Kvitsov. Looking towards that left-hand side. It's with Jordi Alba. Rolled square to Redondo. Slightly forward from Messi. Redondo once more. Ball towards that right-hand side, past halfway. Here is Weingart checking away and playing it back into his defensive half. It's time for Aviles. Now for Kvitsov on the central left-hand side. Numbers up forward for Inter Miami. Here's Redondo. Robert Taylor. Redondo out towards that left-hand side. Here is Jordi Alba back with Redondo. Coming into the lineup instead of Benjamin Kramashi. Here is with Tomas Aviles. Just past halfway on that right-hand side. Chipped in ball towards Gressel. He looks to head her back of a step, but picked up by Atlanta. And United look to play it up down that left-hand side. And they can't keep it in. It was picked up by Jamal Tiao. And Busquets is bodied down by Tristan Muyumba. Gives away the free kick as Miami take it quickly. Central left-hand side, Taylor looks further left for Jordi Alba. Cross comes into the box, it's with Messi with the header! And slightly over the bar, hit the ground first, but you don't often see Messi get onto those ones, but so maybe within only 3 minutes have already caused plenty of trouble for Atlanta. Tristan Muyumba, his foul sort of led to that. Miami took it very quickly. The former Monaco player. From E8 wing bub last season, midway point of 2023, of course. Central left-hand side for Atlanta United comes with Almalda Muyumba, and back into the box now. This time is Williams back towards Cohen, who plays a long ball forward. So the two play back into that defensive half and they threw it high over the top And it looks like Atlanta United are really struggling to create any momentum going forward. Miami just enforcing a stranglehold over this contest. As they move for the 1-2 touch from Suarez and Redondo on that left-hand side. It's played back into Miami defensive half. Redondo back into the centre circle for Tomas Aviles, just inside the half. Kvitsov back into the centre circle, breaking away on his right foot and sliding it towards Suarez, and that pass is misplaced. Montenegro towards that right hand side at Atlanta United, but it's collected by Kvitsov and plays it back into the box for Calendar. Here is Tomas Aviles biding his time on the ball. 1-2 with Kvitsov. Here's with Busquets, shaping away and onto his left-hand side, and here is Jordi Alba. Long ball, searching ball forward towards the centre. It's with Suarez, but it's well dealt with by Williams, who heads it away into his goalkeeper, and Josh Cohen. And he's able to claim. Josh Cohen, a very intriguing player at that, formerly of Maccabi Haifa in the Israeli Premier League. Played his ball at UC San Diego, and of course made the switch back to the US soccer system with Atlanta United at the start of 2024. This ball is whipped in by the right hand side for a throw in by Atlanta United next to the byline. Gonzalo Pineda has not won a singular game away this year as the ball is into the area for Atlanta United, but it's well dealt with by Redondo, who just steps inside and wins back possession. Searching ball forward from Jordi Alba. Midway point of the defensive half on that left-hand side is Suarez, who's been bundled down and awarded the free kick. At the midway point of the defensive half is Redondo. Central left-hand side of the defence is with Kvitsov. Now shifts it towards Aviles. Space opening up for Gressel, but speeding off by Thiago Almada, who technically wins back possession. He's looking for options on that right-hand side, but plays it back to his defensive half. And his defensive centre-back in Derek Williams. He's asking for options, but plays it towards Tristan Muyumba, who looks towards that right-hand side. Still at the midway point of defence for Atlanta United, happy to knock it around. McCarthy. Muyumba can turn. Looking to spray a ball towards that right flank, but decided not to use that option. Into the centre circle, Muyumba just on halfway now. Towards that left-hand side here is Luis Abram. Muyumba stepping in now as he needs it. Back to Muyumba, central left-hand side of the midfield. Back with Abram. And Williams back into the midway point of defence. Almada tracking deep and looking to find options in that centre circle. It's Almada once more. Muyumba breaking the space on that right foot. Shooting it towards the centre of the pitch for Atlanta United on this midway point of the attacking half. And a long ball played forward. This time is Opanidze, long headed towards the box. It arrives eventually. Atlanta United with a nice little piece of play on that central left-hand side, but couldn't break away. And Busquets plays a long pass forward toward Jordi Alba, who switches it towards that right-hand side to no one in pursuit. He'll be out for a throw-in. A couple of headers are ensuing from Atlanta United just around the penalty area, but they couldn't exactly generate anything going forward. That's a good point of the attacking half. A great ball from Almada. Could this arrive for Atlanta? It's on that right hand side. The finish, no, it just goes past the goal. On that left hand side, it was Brooks Lennon with an open shot on goal on that right hand side. The deflection fell very kindly for him. And that could have been the opportunity. Just drifting wide of the goal on that left-hand side. A pivotal start for them. Atlanta United, who have looked the goods in the last 5 minutes, and they win back possession once again following the goal kick. Midway point of their attacking half. This time is with McCarthy just beyond the centre circle. Muyumba back to McCarthy, exchanging passes. Central right hand side now, just past the byline. Muyumba comes to the back of a step now, just on the halfway line for Atlanta United. Central right hand side, looking towards that right touch line. Here is Brooks Lennon taking his time back to Muyumba. Happy to set the tone of the contest at the moment. Muyumba with a sweet turn towards that right hand side now. He's been bodied by Redondo and is awarded the free kick. This really makes things interesting. Miami haven't exactly lost their control over this tie at the moment. Sort of lost a bit of rationality and understanding. Armada's going to fashion in a delivery on the right hand side. He's got plenty of markers in the middle, so he'll know that this is a very important match for him. Armada delivery towards the back post. It's well aimed by Drake Callender, and Miami will look to counter straight away. Redondo looking up forward for Sergio Busquets. Looks towards that right hand side, but just past halfway was Gressel, forced to play it back into the defensive half. Here is Weingart. And now Miami looking to create something going forward. Now towards that right hand side. Gressel playing it back up a step towards Messi. Just on halfway and plays it towards that central left hand side for Kvitsov. It's with Tomas Aviles. Now to Redondo. Now towards that right hand side. Weingart checking back and forcing it back into the defensive half for Aviles on that right hand side. Looking to play it between the legs of Atlantino, but they do win it back. And the body check from Aviles on Jamal Thier. And he's awarded the free kick on that left-hand touchline. Here's Ramalda racing forward, playing it infield. A nice little flick back it was from Caleb Wiley. And eventually they give away the free kick. Ramalda imposing himself a little bit too much in that instance. Gives an opportunity for Inter Miami to reset. And for Atlanta United to really find solace in the fact that their strategy is working so far for the most part, limiting, I guess, the effectiveness of the likes of Sergio Busquets in midfield. They've obviously forced Redondo on the ball a lot. And towards that central right hand side, it's in the midway point of defence for Chelo Weingart. It's with Tomas Aviles, Serhii Kvitsov. Back with Aviles. Out towards that right hand side. Chelo Weingart just inside the defensive half. Long ball forward. It's a great ball. That was initially directed towards Luis Suarez, but it's picked off by Atlanta United. Muyumba, Armada on that left hand touchline. Wiley back into the defensive half for Atlanta United, and they can't exactly force a long ball forward into the direction in which they would have liked. It's brought to ground in the midway point of the attacking half was Robert Taylor, about 35 yards out from goal. He's awarded the free kick. It's towards Taylor now, left edge of the penalty area. Here is Jordi Alba. Ball rolled squared, but not won out by anyone. And there was a bit of McGeady spin from Lobanidze out towards that right hand side now. Brooks Lennon just inside the defensive half. Right hand touchline, and finds Lobanidze racing down that right hand flank, beating past Jordi Alba. Still going Lobanidze despite the interception from Kvitsov. He plays it back towards that right hand touchline, rolled square again on that right flank, and Robert Taylor does bring down the player in Dax McCarthy, but the referee allows things to continue. Taylor on that left hand touchline, Now Mada forced to turn away once more and drive into space. That's a brilliant turn. Approaching the right edge of the area, rolled square towards Lobanidze, but he can't get a touch forward. Now Weingart playing the long pass forward. Into the centre circle. He's with Atlanta United now. Luis Abram. Rolled square. Lobanidze. Amada! First touch. It looks to get the strike away, but right towards that right-hand side. It was just beyond the penalty area. He's been such a fantastic influence on this contest. This is an absolute display of attacking quality from Atlanta United, and they should be delighted. Midway point of the defensive half for Miami with Jordi Alba. You have Tomas Aviles in the centre circle. Towards Busquets. Redondo playing a back of a step. Central left-hand side is Jordi Alba. And switches it towards that right flank with Gressel, touching it towards Weingart, midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami. Here is Redondo, sliding it towards Busquets, laterally, Messi, central left-hand side, chipped in ball towards Alba. It's Jordi Alba, but it's picked off by Atlanta United. And Muyumba breaks away, Redondo stepping in and bringing the ball back on that left-hand side, but his heavy touch was too much. And it's cleared by Atlanta back into the midway point of the Miami defence with Tomas Aviles. Now Kvitsov towards that central left-hand side. Alba. Back towards Kvitsov. Now in the centre circle was Aviles. Back towards Julian Gressel. Towards that right-hand side is Chelo Weingart. Just on halfway is Julian Gressel. And in the centre circle now, Aviles. Kvitsov. Alba. Now Redondo. Now rolled squared towards Sergio Busquets, turning away from his marker. It's picked off by Atlanta United. Busquets has to slide in to retrieve back his lost possession. Messi in space, not making the player initially. Blast for the free kick, but non-forthcoming. Here's Armada racing through midfield and beating past several players. Thiago Armada splitting the defence of Inter Miami, still on this left, but a sliding challenge from Thiago Almada, and players are just flying down in the centre circle now for Inter Miami in the midway point of the attacking half. That was Messi racing forward on that left flank, plays a long ball forward, but it's sliding down challenge from Atlanta United, can break away in possession. And we have a moment to breathe now following the absolute carnage we've just seen in the last 2 minutes or so. Tristan Muyumba in the centre circle, long ball forward. Played back to Muyumba just on halfway. He plays it towards that central left-hand side with a nice little neat switch. Luis Abram. Abram rolls it laterally. Dax McCarthy. Muyumba towards that right-hand touchline at the midway point of the attacking half for Atlanta, looking to slow things down in possession. And as the intensity has slowly been raised with Redondo, Suarez back to goal. Messi in the centre circle. Looks to break away from one. Messi still racing forward. He's got Gressel towards his right. It's Julian Gressel in the area. Back towards Messi. In fact, it might fall for Luis Suarez, but a good save from Cohen. Well, the offside flag is called against Julian Gressel. And Josh Cohen was need to be brought into action there. Not the worst number 2 to have whatsoever. Quite intriguing to see as to what the outcome may be in this instance. Gressel just looks to be just offside by a hair. Pretty good spot by the assistant. Central left-hand side here is Luis Abram. Long ball played forward just on halfway. It's played back of a step, but well dealt with by Inter Miami once more. Here's Muyumba. Midway point of the defensive half for Atlanta United. Out towards that right-hand side. Gregerson, that right-hand touchline, looking to race forward as Lobanidze. Approaching the right byline. The cross is delivered towards the back post. Is there a player there? There wasn't initially, but it was Jamal Thier who just Headed it back of a step. Out for a goal kick now. We'll see as to what the outcome could be. The midway point of the defensive half for South. And into Miami with Messi. Touching that right hand side, looking to drive forward. Right edge of the area, it's Messi. Chipped in ball towards the back post! And Robert Taylor couldn't header it down towards left hand side for a goal kick. Plenty to ponder for Inter Miami. This game has really risen tempo wise. There's obviously a lot to think about for Gerardo Martino as to how to stop Thiago Almada, who's completely splitting the defences. I mean, he's clearly the best player on the pitch at the moment. He's been truly unbelievable. Has this dribbling acumen, dare I say, of his Argentine counterpart in Lionel Messi. Just on halfway for Inter Miami. It's a bit of a tussle in possession. But Atlanta United have space opening up on that right flank. Eloy Benitez is racing forward towards that right edge of the area. Benitez rolled square initially from Mayumba, breaking the step on the Mayumba with a shot again, but it's deflected out for a corner. Shot from the D region. Tristan Mayumba is definitely providing plenty of joy for Atlanta at the base of midfield. He's a part of the Monaco Academy and made one singular appearance for them, especially arriving from Ligue 2. He's shown that he could probably do it at the top level if he so does desire. Has played as low as the third tier in France, as most recently as 2020. By his time though in fourth tier. The cross now does come from Atlanta United. It's Muyumba in the area. Looks to get a shot at it, but it's well and truly away from his body. Armada breaking the space on that left hand side, and Alba has to clear it towards the corner flag and out for a corner. And Atlanta United will have a set piece opportunity on this left hand side. We'll see as to what they might fashion from this position. Thiago Almada on his left hand side with a tall task. Surging delivery towards the middle, towards the back post! There was Luis Abram. Good squarely at Drake Callender. This is a good delivery from Thiago Almada. Flicked towards the back post, and Abram was there. Sat very kindly. Just at the midway point of the defensive half on that right hand side, it's with Chelo Weingart. Now it's central left hand side for Zahi Kvitsov. Looks further left for Jordi Alba. Just on halfway is Robert Taylor. Back of a step towards Redondo. Set the circle. Messi now. Just past halfway on that right hand side. Busquets into the centre circle. And shifted across from Redondo out towards that central left hand side. It's with Jordi Alba. Roll towards the perimeter of the penalty area with Luis Suarez breaking space. It's Luis Suarez with the shot. He was charged down and asked for a penalty, but that will definitely not be answered by the referee. Good pass from Busquets towards the perimeter of the penalty area. It was Luis Suarez who beat past one. Couldn't quite fashion a shot on goal. Towards the centre circle now is Sergio Busquets. Slightly forward for Julian Gressel in the central region. Redondo and Suarez forces out towards that left hand side. Jordi Alba. Centrally is Messi. Redondo back towards Messi. Redondo once more wins it back. About 35 yards out from goal. Busquets with a switch out towards that left hand side. Robert Taylor, left edge of the area, is with Jordi Alba. Old square towards Julian Gressel. And towards that left hand side, it's with Robert Taylor. Approaching the byline. Wants to square the ball. It's kept in still. Alba on that left hand byline. Now towards the left perimeter of the area. It's Redondo looking to fashion a shot away. It's off the head of Derek Williams out for a corner. You can see Federico Redondo having a lot more confidence on the ball. Very talented youngster, only 21. Coming across from Argentinos Jr. Of course, was only brought in about 3 months ago from that very club. Now see the delivery fashioned from Messi on this left-hand side, rolls short towards Gressel. Messi receives it once more. He won't look to deliver across initially. It's just rolled squared towards Jordi Alba. Messi heads it towards a byline. Suarez! Just could chest it down but couldn't quite finish it. That's a great corner routine. But it was offside anyway. It's Miami are beginning to pepper the goal on this occasion. Messi was offside on the initial ball received by Jordi Alba. Josh Cohen had it covered, however. Now we'll see. Ball delivered forward by Atlantino, but one back by Miami straight away. Midway point of the attacking half is with Jordi Alba. Towards Gressel. Here is Messi in the area. Messi goes to ground. Not quite, but it's picked off by Atlanta. It's Suarez, who can't exactly get the touchdown. Armada changing headers with Caleb Wiley. It's one back by Weingart. Past the byline, rolled square, and it's off the foot of an Inter Miami player, and that being Julian Gressel, and he'll be out for a goal kick for Josh Cohen. Suarez has really struggled to get ball to feet so far tonight, at the very least. So Williams out towards that central left-hand side of defence. Here is with Luis Abram, just progressing up the pitch. Out towards that left-hand side, left-hand touchline. It's looking to be rolled square back into midfield for Atlanta, but it's with Julian Gressel now. Searching ball towards that central left-hand side by Miami in the attacking region. Cohen's forced to clear for Atlanta. Picked up in the midfield by Sergio Busquets. And it's at the circle now, Redondo. Busquets centrally towards Messi. And his trademark dribbles now. And the pass is intercepted by Atlanta. And they went back through Thiago Armada in the defensive half. Towards Wiley. And that's Bayumba racing upfield in that central left-hand side. He's got options aplenty. He slides it towards Lobanidze. Got the strike away, and eventually came off the deflection from an Inter Miami player and out for a corner. Suarez hasn't scored since 12th of May against Montreal. Maybe about 3 matches since he's last scored a goal. Lobanidze just getting it off Kvitsov for a corner now. Now the cross to arrive. Delivered towards the back post. Rising highest was Williams, but still kept in play. And Atlantino with an attempted overhead kick. And it's pandemonium in the area still. And Jordi Alba has to get it away, and Miami do get it clear eventually. But the only player forward really was Luis Suarez, and also was Caleb Wiley, who had to track back and play towards his goalkeeper, and Josh Cohen. Central right-hand side of defence for Lyon. And foul is committed by Sergio Busquets. And Brooks Lennon. I don't know why I said Leon, should I say Lennon? Was involved in that as well. The attempted overhead kick was from Jamal Tia. Wasn't that quite the the instance of there. Minutes in this contest, despite it being 0-0, it's been quite the entertaining game so far. Have a bit of a drinks break. Of course, the weather in Miami this evening is we're approaching the summer months, and it being 29 degrees Celsius at 8 p.m. You have to say that having this drinks break is dare I say, necessary. Can't imagine it's going to be the easiest conditions for these players to play in. Of course, with the US having to compete with the likes of basketball and American football, they have to play their season in the summer months, which is to their benefit and also to their detriment. There are always upsides and downsides to these things, as always. As to what happens following this break. Following this calling break, it looks like we'll see play continue. Probably some added minutes of added time as well. And it actually gives us an opportunity to go around the grounds. Of course, several games being played at the moment, 5 in fact. Philadelphia Union 0-0 against Toronto. Cincinnati trailing 2-0 against Nashville. Montreal 1-1 with DC United, and 0-0 between the Red Bulls and Charlotte. Was at the midway point of the attacking half for Atlanta United. Now to McCarthy looking towards that right hand side. Lobanese 25 yards out from goal on that right edge of the area. McCarthy back in field towards that right hand touchline. Here is Brooks Lennon. Gets a delivery into the box, but in fact he couldn't do so and deflected off a Miami player out for a corner. The attempted delivery will arrive from Brooks Lemon if he's able to receive a ball. I don't think they're able to get one at the moment. And we'll just see the delivery arrive from Brooks Lennon on that right hand side. Just delivered towards the centre once more. Williams rising highest, but it's way over the bar. Andre Callender will take his time once again. Midway point of the defensive half is Redondo. On that left hand side, just inside the defensive half, is with Jordi Alba. Busquets across the centre circle. Towards that central right hand side is Tomas Aviles. Towards Busquets. Asking for numbers up forward. It shifts it towards the halfway line of Serhii Kvitsov. Left hand touchline was Busquets. Now Redondo at the midway point of the attacking half. Rolled squared towards Suarez. And Muyumba picks up possession. Now it's with Messi approaching the area. He's won back by Miami. Messi entering the area on that left hand side. A roll across the face by Robert Taylor. And David Vax hits Atlanta United player out for a corner. In spurts, Messi just found the option on that left flank. And Taylor looked like it hit the foot. That's the young Grogerson. I think it actually might have been Brooks Lennon. And now we'll see the corner on this left hand side. It's rolled square. It's with Taylor, or it's flicked across. It's with Robert Taylor yet again. Looking to create space, but Gregerson just sends it out towards that left hand side for a throw in. Miami with the throw in about 5 yards or so out from the left corner flag. It's played back towards Messi on that left hand touchline. 1-2 with Jordi Alba unable to be executed, and Muyumba is going to take the throw in. It's been a very evenly poised game, both in by virtue of, I guess, shots and also big chances. Only one big chance created for either side. But actual shots tally does tell a very different story. Atlanta with 10 compared to Miami's 3 as a throw is thrown down the line down that right-hand side and unable to be kept in by Atlanta. Midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami this time is with Messi shifting away from his marker towards Suarez, now towards that central right-hand side. Gressel back towards Suarez, approaching the D. Right edge of the areas with Cello Weingart looking to fashion a cross into the box. Right into the head of Luis Abram. And the throw-in is won by Miami on that right-hand side, taken quickly towards Redondo. Weingart, Redondo, look back in field towards Busquets, shifting away from his marker. And rolled square towards Kvitsov. Central left-hand side now is with Jordi Alba. Now it's Busquets. Forced to turn away. And they're looking to play it forward. Back towards Kvitsov. Midway point of the attacking half is Redondo. Looking to play it forward. Redondo once more. Options to his left, options to his right. Central right-hand side is from Gressel. Gressel across towards Busquets. Now Redondo. And looking towards Messi, but picked up by Mayumba. Looking to turn away cleanly was Thiago. Now in the centre circle. Thiago's got options to his right in the form of Lobanese. It looks towards Lobanese, but it's a great sliding challenge from Kvitsov to drop off the pass. It's one back by Inter Miami in that defensive half as Alba with a long ball forward in towards Messi, the midway point of the attacking half, looking to race forward towards Suarez, approaching the D. It's Suarez turning onto his left. Couldn't do so. Muyumba wins out possession. Here is Armada in the centre circle, in the defensive half, spraying a ball out towards that right-hand side. Approaching the right edge of the penalty area, Lobanese. Truck runners arriving, it's towards Armada with the shot on target. Right into the feet of Drake Callender. He's able to claim and send it out towards that left-hand side. Redondo. Midway point of the defensive half now is with Sergio Busquets in the centre circle. Messi just on halfway. Central right-hand side is with Julian Gressel. Back towards Busquets. 35 yards out from goal, Messi. Oh, he's found a space on that left-hand side. It's with Jordi Alba crossing to the box. But it's right into the arms of Josh Cohen. Entering the 38th minute now. Now at the midway point of the defensive arm is with Atlanta, looks to race forward now. This time McCarthy. About 35 yards out from goal, approaching the right edge of the area. Lobanese on his left foot. Again, right into the arms of Drake Callender. All too easy. And Lobanese just... he had a bit of luck, I guess, going forward, but that just hasn't really been for him. A very talented Georgian international, of course. It was quite an interesting signing, of course, arriving from Hatayspor in Turkey. And a really good goal-scoring record at Randers in Denmark. Midway point of the defensive half now. Kvitsov out towards that left-hand side. Onto the Redondo, back towards Jordi Alba in the centre circle. Here is Sergio Busquets towards Messi. Back towards Busquets. Back towards Messi. The midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami. Messi towards that left-hand side. Here's Robert Taylor approaching the left edge of the area. They'll look to fashion a cross, but holds it square towards Busquets, about 35 yards out from goal. He plays it back at the step for Kvitsov, who's very high up this defensive line for Inter Miami. Towards that central right-hand side, Redondo. Laterally back towards Aviles. Now just beyond the centre circle is Kvitsov. Aviles towards that right-hand side, Redondo. Incisive ball, and was left by Gressel initially. Weingart looking to get a touch to it. Armada. Muyumba looking to charge forward. Forced towards that right-hand side, and I guess Miami prevent the counter-attack. Midway point of defence now for Atlanta United, and a switch attempted by Muyumba. Unable to be executed. In the centre circle now is with Luis Suarez. Back towards Sergio Busquets. Left slightly forward for Redondo. A long ball forward in towards Luis Suarez, but it's claimed very easily by Josh Cohen. Here is with Luis Abram, rolled into the centre circle, Bakati. Down that right hand side, Atlanta United looking to press forward, approaching the right edge of the area. It's with Lennon. And Mayumba at the midway point of the attacking half for Atlanta United. Now to Thiago Almada. Mayumba. Central left hand side, Almada once more. Looking to create space on his right foot. It's Almada racing forward. So it's a step and check and roll it back towards McCarthy. And central left hand side, and Atlanta looking to set the tone. Abram plays it back to his defensive partner in Derek Williams on that left hand touchline. Mayumba breaks the space cleanly and beats past Redondo on that left hand side. Mayumba on his right foot now, rolling it square towards Armada. Right edge of the penalty area. The cross does arrive towards the back post. Here is Miley. And Miley unable to get the shot away. And in fact, I think did commit the foul on Taylor Weingart. It's a brilliant shift away from Mayumba. Just so clean. So very nice, and it demonstrates his real technical acumen. It's Redondo in the midway point of the defensive half for Inter Miami. This time is Jordi Alba. To the circle was Luis Suarez out towards that right-hand touchline, and Messi just not in any rush to really bring it forward. Busquets back towards Messi, who executes the triangle with his fellow Argentine and Redondo. Albertella out towards that central left-hand side. It's Sergio Busquets now at the midway point of the attacking half, following the pass from Jordi Alba. Alba now on this left edge of the area, and gives away possession pretty cheaply towards Dax McCarthy, and Cohen forces it towards that right hand side, but out of play for a throw in for Inter to take, about 5 yards out from that left edge of the penalty area. Alba left hand side towards Redondo at the midway point of the attacking half towards that central right hand side, as with Jello Weingart. Back towards Busquets, Aviles, central area for Inter Miami in the attacking half. Busquets towards Redondo, central left hand side is with Alba, who's been dispossessed and upended. And Gregerson's going to race forward to this defensive half, out towards that right hand side. And here is Loibanese, numbers forward for Atlanta, rolled back towards the centre half, and Gregerson approaching the penalty area, inside now, actually towards Loibanese, towards the back post. There is Wiley, and here's Mayumba, and the shot might arrive from Almada, entering the area, looking to trickle his way through. It's picked up by Gressel, and Miami will look to bring it forward. And Gressel plays it towards that right hand side, it's with Suarez. Messi, midway point of the defensive half now is Sergio Busquets. Messi, incisive 1-2 with Sergio Busquets towards Messi once more, but it's picked off by Mayumba. Now Atlanta United, this time Mayumba in the centre circle, past halfway. The 1-2 executed with Loibanese racing forward, looking to try and strike on goal. Loibanese! Wow! The Georgian with an absolute masterclass into the top left corner. Stuns the home side, and Drake Callender could do nothing about that. Loibanese. An unbelievable finish. Such quality on the ball, racing through midfield, and you have to say this lead is most likely deserved. From all of 30 yards, lets one fly. What a goal. What a goal. Up where the Spiders live. That's some way to close out the first half. And what a way to do it. Saba, Loibanese, unbelievable. What a goal. Well, just on the stroke of half-time, Inter Miami have got their first real problem to deal with. I think it's at the circle now for Inter Miami, 2 minutes of added time. Just on halfway, Redondo. Now at the midway point of the defensive half is Kvitsov. Now it's with Tomas Aviles. Miami forced their way back into this contest immediately. Chelo Weingart on this right-hand side. Just on halfway is with Tomas Aviles. Now it's with Serhii Kvitsov on that central left-hand side. Here is with Jordi Alba. Miami at the midway point of the attacking half towards that left-hand touchline. Taylor. Redondo. Rolled square towards Busquets. The attempted flick. Armada will win out possession. Muyumba. There's one back by Armada, and they've got only Lloyd Benitez forward. Could he be on for a second? Racing on that right-hand side. Armada's square. Lloyd Benitez towards the back post, and Wiley couldn't finish it. Miami in all sorts here. Their high line is really leading to so many counter-attacking opportunities for Atlanta United. But it's with Jordi Alba towards that right-hand side. Gressel naturally finds Alba once more. And just on halfway is Sergio Busquets. On that left-hand side, looking to create some trouble. Shifted across towards Messi. And it's at the circle now. One ball forward towards... Side Lloyd Benitez. And that's McCarthy back towards Almada. Towards the midway point of the attacking half once more. That right-hand touchline briefly was the option of Brooks Leonard. And Almada wins down that right-hand touchline, looking to twist and weave his way through with a bit of trickery. He's got the overlapping run available, but decides to leave it back and shifts it towards the centre. Here is Muyumba towards that central left-hand side. Here is Luis Abram. Left-hand touchline briefly for Atlanta United, back towards Abram. Just on halfway, here is Derek Williams. It's Abram. That's left-hand side. Left-hand touchline, Muyumba. Shifting away from Chalo Weingart initially. Rolled back into midfield. McCarthy with a heavy touch. Taylor heads it forward. Just inside the defensive half for Inter Miami with Messi. He switches it towards that left-hand side. Until Suarez actually in a more central position. Towards Robert Taylor. 25 yards out from goal. Rolled back towards Luis Suarez. Central right-hand side is with Redondo. Towards that right edge of the penalty area is with Julian Gressel. Shifts it back towards that right-hand touchline for Chelo Weingart, who plays a one-time pass towards Busquets. Right back with Chelo Weingart towards Redondo. Shifted across, chested down by Messi. Across the D, and it's all dealt with by Atlanta United's defence and Josh Cohen, who's able to claim and take his time to bring the ball forward. No rush whatsoever. Towards that left-hand side. This time is Luis Abram. And the diagonal ball out towards that, or should I say the switch ball towards that right-hand side. Brooks Lennon bringing it up past halfway down that right flank. Here is Lloyd Benitez. And with the misplaced pass, straight into the feet of Serhii Kvitsov. In the centre circle, to McCarthy. Towards Muyumba. Just past halfway. Shifting it onto his right foot out towards that right-hand side. Here is Brooks Leonard. Back with Muyumba. Tracking further away. All the way back into his defensive half. And that was Josh Cohen briefly. Towards that central right-hand side. Gregerson. Muyumba. In the midway point of the defensive half. Looking back towards his goalkeeper initially, but forced to play it left, but it's intercepted by Inter Miami. Gressel, Messi, towards Busquets. At the midway point of the attacking half, Messi approaching the penalty area. Turns away onto his left foot. It's Messi once more, shifting it across to that left-hand side. The interception from Atlanta United, and Lloyd Benitez wins out. And looks to leave it past Sergio Busquets and is awarded the free kick. At the midway point of the defensive half for Inter Miami. And we'll see as to what they can fashion here. Of course, they'll be under the pump for the majority of the second half, you'd have to imagine. Atlanta United with Inter Miami looking to stake their intent. And it's up the field by Atlanta United. They give away a free kick to Inter Miami. And a free kick for Atlanta inside the attacking half on that left-hand side. See the free kick being taken. Redondo getting away the foul. In the centre circle, McCarthy. Just on halfway towards that right-hand side, Muyumba picked off by Miami. Busquets, Messi now past halfway. First time ball towards Redondo. He wins back possession. Here's times with Luis Suarez towards Messi. Redondo looking to receive into space with Messi, but he's been cut off. And Muyumba looks down that left-hand touchline, and a great ball towards that left-hand touchline. Here is Jamal Diaz. Providing the middle option was Lloyd Benitez. Now Thiago Almada in the centre circle, driving forward. Much intent towards Lloyd Benitez, but the pass was intercepted by Serhii Kvitsov. Muyumba at the base of midfield. Midway point of the attacking half for Atlanta United. McCarthy looks towards that central right-hand side. Right-hand touchline is Brooks Lennon. Roll back towards Stian Gregersen. Now it's with Josh Cohen. Outside of his box. And gets it clear towards that left flank. Good little flicked-on header. Is won back by Inter Miami now. It's in the centre circle. This time is with Sergio Busquets. Towards that right-hand side, Messi. Shifted into the box, and he's brought to ground, Luis Suarez. A push in the back, but might not be enough to warrant a penalty. And it looks like play will continue this time as the long ball's played forward, but unable to be intercepted by any Miami players. But they do win back possession, though. Jordi Alba now at the midway point of the attacking half with Busquets, turns away. In the centre circle now towards Redondo. Central region looks towards that central left-hand side. Jordi Alba, and the incisive ball towards Robert Taylor. Enters the area on that left-hand side. The cross does arrive into the chest of Brooks Lennon, out for a corner. A pivotal moment. An opportunity now for Inter Miami to potentially generate yet another opportunity going forward. On this left-hand side, they look to deliver a set piece. What might the choice be from this position? Delivered in towards the centre, headed back by Atlanta. And they look to get it clear, but they do eventually. There's a strong stride forward from Jamal Thier. Now Wiley in the centre circle. He's been brought to ground and is awarded the free kick. Or maybe not. I'm not exactly sure what the decision is going to be here. Jamal Thier seems to be in some way here. So too, should I say, Jordi Alba will hold his face. Yeah, looks like Jamal Thier just maybe hitting the face of Jordi Alba, and Miami might be awarded the free kick. Quite an interesting thing to observe, despite the nature around that. And there's a bit of a scrap as well. It looks like Jamal Thier looking to square up to Sergio Busquets. Not having any of that. Can't really blame him though, to be honest. And Jamal Thier just not happy whatsoever. Looks like Jordi Alba said something that really frustrated him. Ball shifted in towards Luis Suarez, but well dealt with by Atlanta. Now it's towards his left-hand side. And was cleared away by Luis Benitez once more. But to no one in pursuit. Jamal Thier is still incensed, it looks like, at the very least. The throw-in now for Atlanta United, firmly in their defensive half down this right-hand side. It's towards Thier. Jordi Alba just clears it back into the defensive half for Inter Miami. Chelo Weingart stepping in. On that central left-hand side now is Thomas Aviles, now towards Kvitsov, who plays it back towards Drake Callender, who comes out of his box to receive the pass. Towards that central right-hand side is Chelo Weingart. Roll towards Thomas Aviles at the midway point of the defensive half for Inter Miami. Redondo past halfway. In the centre circle now, Thomas Aviles out towards that central right-hand side for Inter Miami. In their attacking half as Chelo Weingart. Roll towards Busquets, back with Chelo Weingart. Here is Gressel. Busquets. High towards Redondo. Pokes it towards that left-hand side. Here is Jordi Alba. About 30 yards out from goal. Rolled square towards Suarez, approaching the D. The outside of the foot pass is intercepted by Atlanta United. Now towards Luis Benitez, who's inside the defensive half and is not awarded the foul. Across the D now is with Alba. Messi looking to get the strike away. He does. Outside of the box, and in fact slips on the deck, and It's all the way easy for Josh Cohen to take. No yellow cards handed out compared to the weekend. Inter Miami had a lot of yellows to deal with against Vancouver. Midway point at the defensive half this time. Aviles towards that right-hand side in the attacking half. Just on halfway is with Redondo. Towards the central left-hand side now. So Busquets now at the base of midfield. At the midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami. Looking to exchange passes, but it's one back by Atlanta United, who then is Thomas Aviles just charges down. Looks like Jamal Dia has awarded a yellow card, the first one of this evening's contest. Of course, last time Atlanta United played against LAFC, they actually received a red card. It was their goalkeeper, Brad Guzan, that went in the book. And LAFC also had a red card themselves. But it was only Stian Goligason that actually got a yellow card. And of course, Brad Guzan actually got sent off for a second yellow. And we'll see Gressel make way, the first change. Matias Rojas is going to make his introduction. The import has done fantastically well so far in his start to life. This ball's played down the right-hand side. It's time for Loic Benitez to receive potentially, but it's well doubled by Kvitsov on that central left-hand side of defence for Inter Miami. The midway point of the defensive half is with Redondo. Looking out towards that right-hand side. Matias Rojas, of course, Paraguayan international. Running plenty of pedigree going forward. Much joy, should we say. At the midway point of the defensive half was Thomas Aviles, now into the centre circle. He's with Serhii Kvitsov, past halfway to Redondo. With Busquets, turns away on his right foot towards Messi in midfield. Redondo in the centre circle once more. Towards that left-hand side is with Jordi Alba, approaching the left edge of the area. Alba well back towards Redondo. There's Busquets, 30 yards out from goal. Changing passes with Luis Suarez, but it's one back by Atlanta United in their defensive half. And Armada looking to turn away. Dispossessed initially, but Armada will switch all the way towards that right-hand side, and Brooks Lennon is going to take the long ball forward. Loic Benitez, midway point of the attacking half for Atlanta United this time. Loic Benitez bearing down on goal in the perimeter. Loic Benitez on his left foot. Oh my! Once more, Saba Loic Benitez has completely taken Inter Miami to the sword. He looks at his watch. He knows what time it is. It's time to secure their first away win this season. Atlanta United, Saba Loic Benitez. Take a bow. What poise and quality. On his left foot, from outside of the box, yet again. Unbelievable piece of play from Atlanta United. It's Thiago Almada, once again the architect. Played great ball towards Brooks Lennon with a great switch and really split up the defence for Inter Miami. Loic Benitez picks it up on that right-hand touchline, drives all the way into midfield and then takes it on his left. The sumptuous finish into the bottom left corner. That is great football from Atlanta United, and Saba Loic Benitez has put his name in absolute headlights this evening. Loic Benitez, what an absolute crazy finish, and what a game we've had. They've been down and out in the second half, and that marks his fourth goal this season. What a time to do it. In the attacking half for Inter Miami down that left-hand side. It's with Redondo now looking to slide through, and does initially pass Mayumba. And he's trying to keep it in. Mayumba down that left-hand side for Inter Miami, and they do win back possession. Saba Loic Benitez. His last goal in the MLS was scored in early May against Minnesota. Prior to that, it was in March. He's punched away by Cohen following the cross from Jordi Alba. Still in the box over Chelo Weingart potentially. Muyumba. And he's in the defensive half for Atlanta United. This time for Thiago Almada. The midway point of their defensive half. Almada's just running circles around the likes of Chelo Weingart and Matias Rojas. And it's played out of play by Atlanta United. Josh Cohen was in a bit of a heap there following that. Attempted shot from Jordi Alba to the midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami. Kvitsov dropping into midfield now. He's with Suarez out towards that left edge of the penalty area. It's with Jordi Alba. Suarez once more. Shifting it across towards Busquets. Messi asked for it. He's been targeted heavily so far. Busquets at the midway point of the attacking half towards Redondo. Short towards Matias Rojas. It's Busquets about 30 yards out from goal. Messi with some space. Messi strikes! Messi scores! Lionel Messi! You can't afford him any space because he will strike with that bullet of a left foot into the bottom right corner, and Inter Miami are back in this contest through their Argentine marksman, who has barely received any space this evening, but that's why they triple team him, because Messi, with a moment of magic, delivers for Inter Miami. This is great work from Inter Miami, with Messi just outside of the box, low-driven shot towards the bottom right corner. And this game just has a little bit of spice now. And add a bit of intensity that the fans rise at Chase Stadium. They know they're in for quite the closure to this contest. There's a lot to look out for. Serhii Kvitsov now at the midway point of the defensive half. Redondo down towards that right-hand side. Messi receives, and Messi will drive that right-hand side towards Luis Suarez. Messi into the box. It was flicked across initially, looked like by Robert Taylor. He couldn't quite deliver. I think Messi just has that added level of confidence now that, well, because we can find the opening, we just need to raise the intensity a little bit more. They have been very lackadaisical in possession, have Inter Miami so far. He's looking to press high up as well down that right hand side. It's one back by Atlanta United though. Muyumba looking towards that left hand side. And space opening up for Caleb Wiley on that left hand touchline. It's Almada now in possession. Racing forward into the area. It's Almada with a bit of space, and he looks to strike on goal. And Drake Callender is so angry at his defenders for not closing him down initially. This is going to be quite the moment of execution for Inter Miami now at the midway point of the defensive half. Now with Matias Rojas passing halfway on that right-hand side. Gaps open for Luis Suarez on that right-hand side, but he's not quite the winger to play infield. Suarez now plays it back towards Busquets. Messi, 1-2 with Busquets on that right-hand side at the midway point of the attacking half. Here's Matias Rojas looking to let one fly, and he does so. It's into the bottom right corner, but it's very well saved by Josh Cohen. We know Rojas can do it from range, but quite low. In fact, it was actually quite central on the replay. Now it's into the Atlanta United attack. Well dealt with by Aviles, the high ball. Just on halfway is with Jordi Alba on that left-hand side. Central left-hand side still going forward, looking further left towards Robert Taylor on that left-hand touchline. Plays it in field towards Sergio Busquets. And closing it down was Jamal Thier. Well done. Well, the Senegalese international. Miami to win back possession following the misplaced pass. At the midway point of the attacking half is Busquets. And Thier wins back possession in the defensive half. Deflection eventually arrives. Still danger not yet averted for Atlanta United as Messi receives in ball, but picked off by Dax McCarthy. Now in the penalty area for Atlanta United. They look to get it clear through Josh Cohen, but it's kept in play by Kvitsov, who shifts all the way towards that left-hand side. Now Busquets at the midway point of the attacking half, 40 yards out from goal. Towards that left-hand side, lofted ball. Robert Taylor, left edge of the area, on his right foot. A couple of step-overs towards the byline. Plays it back infield towards Jordi Alba, shifted across towards Messi, heads it away. Suarez back to goal. Gets a strike away. Tame one at that, but it's collected by Josh Cohen. And so here we go. Very tall task for them now. Atlanta United, it's a bit of an onslaught from Inter Miami ever since, really. And now we will see probably some more changes, you'd say, from Atlanta United or Inter Miami. Josh Cohen's going to take his time to recover. Looks like the player is down for Atlanta United. And looks like Gonzalo Pineda is going to have to think about who to bring on, and probably looks like they might be forced to a change here. Looks like Brooks Lennon could be in a bit of strife here. Have a look on Idze. Just covered the highest speed in this game so far, 20.5 miles per hour. Got such speed, doesn't he, the Georgian? Josh Cohen will look to send it long with the clearance, utilising his hands as well, as Viles does bring down Thiago Almada. Midway point of the attacking half. He needs to be very, very careful. Marcel Viles, of course, already on a yellow card. Almada now will take the free kick at the midway point of the attacking half. Almada now to fashion one in. Almada towards the centre. It's all dealt with by Kvitsov. A nice little flick from Messi. Busquets. And plays it towards that right hand side, but intercepted by Wiley. He's going to race all the way forward. And beating past to space. Wiley with the cross into the centre. It's Thier. It might fall kindly, it looks like, for Abram. But it doesn't exactly find its way into a dangerous position for Miami to deal with, but now rolls square from Alba at the midway point of the defensive half with Redondo. Looking out towards that right flank, and Chelo Weingart will get onto this one, the Argentine, and race forward towards Matias Rojas, towards Messi, at the midway point of the attacking half. Messi once again can't quite create. Now Thier, nice little neat flick, and he's body checked by Redondo, who gives away the foul. And we'll see them take the free kick at Atlanta United. But now at the midway point of defence is with McCarthy. Now towards that right hand side. Past halfway. Lennon. Right hand touchline side by Loic Idze. Going to play it back towards Lennon on that right hand touchline. Driving more in field. Loic Idze this time towards McCarthy. Lennon in line with the penalty area on that right hand side. Looks to drive into the penalty area, in fact, on his right foot. Approaching the byline. Rolled square, and it's all dealt with by Kvitsov. And now Redondo gets a clear outside of the Miami penalty area. Touched down by Luis Suarez. Oh, goodness. A sliding challenge it was. It was Dejan Gregersen. almost into his coach, almost 2 foot his coach. Now at the midway point of the defensive half for Inter Miami, with Busquets into the circle, driving past halfway. Suarez with the lofted ball out towards that right flank. Here is Chelo Vanguard, just on halfway. Now is with Redondo, looking out towards that left flank. Here is with Jordi Alba, shifted across towards Busquets. Now at the midway point of the attacking half, Kvitsov. Here is Rojas on his right foot. Did he cause some trouble here? Rojas laterally finds Tomas Aviles. Back with Rojas. Central left-hand side is with Redondo. Now towards that right-hand side once more. Approaching Chelo Vanguard. In the area he goes. Towards the right edge of the penalty area is Matias Rojas. 51 into the box. Headed away by Atlanta, not as far as Redondo, about 35 yards out from goal towards Chelo Vanguard. Right edge of the area, Matias Rojas towards Busquets. And the midway point of the attacking half is with Serhii Kvitsov. Busquets once more towards that right-hand touchline now. Matias Rojas shapes one into the box. He'll be out for a goal kick. Sitting a bit left. For a goal kick, as always. Looks like no changes to be instituted by Atlanta United's head coach. They do have a lot of good players on the bench. Of course, the one that really sticks out is Georgios Giacomakis, former Celtic striker. Made a name for himself at VVV Velna in the Eredivisie. Pass halfway down that left-hand side and racing forward Atlanta United. This time in midfield is Wiley. Shifted across towards Almada. 35 yards out from goal, cutting onto his left. It's Almada towards Wiley. Towards the back post, and in fact it goes all the way in! Jamal Thier, it looks like, got a final touch onto it. And despite the onslaught from Inter Miami, they've somehow scored their third. Atlanta United. And once again, Thiago Almada heavily involved in the build-up. A great cross from Caleb Wiley towards the back post. Jamal Thier was there. And Atlanta United will likely go home singing the praises of the likes of Caleb Wiley and also Jamal Thier, who could be offside here, but doesn't look like it at the very least. And how about the work from Caleb Wiley? And what a tremendous game for him. With an unsung hero, but he's only 19 years of age. Delivering like that. One of the brightest prospects in US soccer. And I think he might be offside here, Jamal Thier. The VAR is definitely going to have a look at this. Looks like a change. Dax McCarty is going to make his way onto the park. Off the park, should I say. Mosquera is going to make his way onto the park. Leonardo Campagna also going to make his way onto the park. And the goal's now been confirmed. Williams making his way off. And also, coming on for Atlanta United, Noah Cobb. Midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami now. It's with Leo Messi. It's with Matias Rojas. Towards that right-hand side, Chelo Vanguard. Lebanese making way as well, should I say, for Edward Mosquera. I'll take you through those few players at the moment. Edward Mosquera, very talented Colombian footballer, of course, only 22 years of age. In the area it goes, and a shot away from Matias Rojas right into the head of it looks like Inter Miami player, should I say Atlanta United player, and Luis Abram, who's family on the deck. Edwin Mosquera, of course, formerly of Independiente Medellin, Colombian number 20 international. Provides some very important pace going forward. And Noah Cobb, only 18 years of age. Having been with the academy ever since the age of 11. And joined the under 12 side of Atlanta in 2016. And Leonardo Campagna, of course, making his way onto the park as well. Scored the winner last time out. With a massive, massive goal in the 90th minute a few weeks ago against DC United at home. We'll have another drinks break, of course. Check on the Miami weather. It's still 29 degrees Celsius, which is very, very hot for 9 p.m. It's not going to get much colder either. It's going to hit a low of 28 in the evening. It's going to be pretty hot across the entire week in Miami. It's basically 30 every day, which is, I guess, good news if you're a traveler or a citizen that enjoys the conditions, but maybe not. Who knows? Let's see what I could deliver, perhaps. This is a very big moment for both sides. For Atlanta United, it might arrest the decline potentially in their campaign. To obviously put them in 12th place. Not much of a change from where they were previously, but they want to enter potentially the playoff spots in the Eastern Conference. And they'll really be one game back of a step as the standings currently sit at the moment. Very interesting mid-table in the Eastern Conference. No sides are really shocking per se, bar, say, New England and probably Chicago as well by an extent. But as we see now, down this left-hand side, strong run from Mayumba, approaching the byline and gets across the way very kindly. Might fall kindly for Mosquera on his right-hand side. Enters the area on his right foot. Mosquera approaching the byline and gets a shot away, all the way into the body of Drake Callender. On his left-hand side now, into Miami through Leonardo Campagna. Robert Taylor made way for him to come on. Now at the midway point of defence, here is Jordi Alba. Now to Redondo out towards that right-hand side. Messi. Long ball forward, looking for the likes of Luis Suarez, who gets it headed to it initially. Now to the midway point of the defensive half, McCarthy towards that left-hand side. Here is Wiley. And forward Almada. Midway point of defence now. McCarthy out towards that left-hand side. Towards Wiley, and that will share sort of a similar name to Luis Miley, the current Newcastle midfielder. Both young super talents who were both teenagers as well. So interesting to note that fact. Mosquera, 1-2 touch with, and that right-hand side, Brooks Leonard. Mosquera, infield now towards Almada in the central region. Tier turns back away from his marker. Now it's Almada on that central right-hand side. Plays it more infield this time for Mayumba. Now towards that left-hand side, Wiley. Can get the touch away to Mayumba, and it's out of play from Chelo Weingart out for a corner. Almada now going to take the corner, but it's rolled short now. Back towards Almada. Approaching the penalty area in his right foot. It's Almada breaking the space. Almada! Oh, it's a very tame shot. In fact, it's all the way out towards that right-hand side and out for an Inter Miami throw-in. We'll see what they can deliver now, perhaps. On the left-hand side, it was Serhij Kvitsov. Now it's back towards Sergio Busquets at the midway point of the defensive half now for Inter Miami. This time is Federico Redondo. 10 minutes left for Inter Miami to potentially force another goal, which could make things very interesting. Heading into the final few moments, Messi in the centre circle in the defensive half for Inter Miami. Forward towards Redondo, now towards Luis Suarez, out towards that right-hand touchline. Here is Cello Weingart breaking the space, looking to drive forward and get the cross into the mixer. It's Campagna looking to receive, but it's Matias Rojas on the edge of the area. Messi looking towards that left-hand side. It's kept in play by Matias Rojas on the byline, and a very long cross towards the back post, headed back away. It's towards Messi, goes to ground, but no free kick awarded. Now Mosquera just inside the defensive half and racing forward down that right flank. He's got numbers forward. In fact, he does have Jamal Thier, who's bearing down on goal, enters the area. Jamal Thier nearly found the top left corner, but it's over the bar. So dear nearly for Inter Miami to go down with yet a fourth goal, but their defence has been absolutely pummeled so far. Let's see what they can fashion. And also another change, Jack McCarthy making his way off the park. Jamal Thier making way for Georgios Giakoumakis. Looks like another change has also been made. Dax McCarthy coming off. And oncoming. He took a Jai Fortune as well. Now in the centre circle this time, Serhij Kvitsov looking towards that left-hand side. Here is Jordi Alba. Onto the 1-2 with Suarez, but again they can't generate anything, and Mayumba is going to break away in the defensive half for Inter Miami. He's brought down in the defensive half and is awarded the free kick. And towards that left-hand side, towards that right-hand side, should I say, and they throw in Jordi Alba at the midway point of the defensive half. And towards that right-hand side, just inside the defensive half. This time is Marcelo Weingart. Busquets. Back into the midway point of defence for Tomas Aviles. It's at the circle now. Federico Redondo. And towards that central left-hand side, Jordi Alba. Kvitsov now. In the centre circle now is Federico Redondo. Looking upfield towards Suarez. Good touch from Redondo. Picked off again. Giakoumakis breaks the space. Enters the centre circle, and he's charged down by Aviles, but play continues, and play might ensue for Mosquera. A free ball forward. Mosquera, only Kvitsov to beat. Mosquera onto his left foot. Mosquera! Away towards that left-hand side, and Drake Callender will take the goal kick. And Giakoumakis just was brought to ground. It looks like Mosquera was onside, and in fact did Pete Bast Serhij Kvitsov initially. Now to Marcelo Weingart. Central right-hand side of the attack for Inter Miami. Back to Redondo. In the centre circle is Serhij Kvitsov. Now back towards Busquets. Here is Messi. Towards that left-hand side. It's with Jordi Alba at the midway point of the attacking half. Back towards Messi. Towards Suarez. Get deeper towards Matias Rojas, who lets one fly. And right into the safe arms of Josh Cohen. And so, well, Atlanta United are going to take their time. They are in no rush whatsoever. Towards Inter Miami, their next game against St. Louis on Sunday at home. And a 2-week break for them following the international break, and after that the Philadelphia Union away. Back into the attacking half for Inter Miami, back with Matias Rojas down this left-hand side. Jordi Alba chested high and long into the centre circle now for Atlanta United. Muyumba past halfway, picked off by Tomas Aviles, and Messi racing forward, driving forward. Messi looking towards that right-hand side, towards Campagna. It's back in the penalty area for Messi on his left foot, rolling it short now towards Federico Redondo. Chipped in ball towards that right-hand side. It's well dealt with by Wiley. He'll get it cleared down the line. Now it's with Sergio Busquets in the attacking half for Inter Miami, back with Redondo. Messi shifting away on his left foot. Messi getting the cross away, and Atlanta United deal with it well. Busquets, Campagna, Hamada now. Midway point of the defensive half, driving forward in the centre circle, looking towards that left-hand side, space opening up. Yakumakis back towards Armada, and a sliding challenge from Futsov, gets it away. Now at the midway point of the defensive half, Inter Miami with a big chance to get another goal, and they have to do so now. Chelo Weingart down that right-hand side, racing forward. A 1-2 touch with Luis Suarez. Midway point of the attacking half down that right-hand side. Messi ushering members forward. He knows this is the time. Busquets back towards Messi. Perimeter of the area down that right-hand side. Rolled square, dealt with well by Atlanta United, and a sliding challenge from Muyumba. No free kick from the referee awarded. Yakumakis in towards the feet now of Jay Fortune. And here racing forward is Yakumakis. And a strong defensive challenge from Tomas Aviles gets it away. AJ Fortune, another player that's come in. He's 21, of course, part of this Atlanta youth system for quite a few years now. Made his debut at 17 for the USL Championship side at the Atlanta United second team. He's really bedded himself into this team, and is also a fully fledged Trinidad and Tobago international. Now Muyumba at the midway point of the attacking half. Fortune interchanging passes. Now towards that left-hand side. Fortune at midway point of the attacking half once more for Atlanta United in the 89th minute. We've just entered now. Now on the precipice of a famous victory for themselves this season, and will raise confidence. Wiley enters the area. Mosquera breaking forward. Mosquera! Nearly beat it down towards that right-hand side. He was so dear near for the young Colombian to get himself a much-deserved goal, who's really peppered the goal of Drake Callender. Brilliant piece of skill down that left-hand side, looking to find the bottom right corner, but couldn't quite do so. Edwin Mosquera, just past the 6-yard box, nearly found the all-important delivery. Another change, maybe just from Atlanta United, just to waste time. And it looks like Ronald Hernandez is going to make his introduction. Venezuelan import. Looking for more defensive solidity at right back. Suarez back to goal. Rojas looking down at left-hand side, left edge of the area for Jordi Alba, rolled across the space of goal, and it's cleared out of play by Fortune. Now thrown at the midway point of the attacking half. Vasily Kvitsov thrown in towards Jordi Alba. Now just on halfway, Aviles looking out towards that right-hand side. Here is Chelo Weingart, rolled square towards Matias Rojas at the midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami. Luis Suarez out towards that left-hand side. Jordi Alba with the cross, deflected off by the Inter player. And it's rolled out of play by Fortune in a more central region out to the left-hand side for a throw-in. Jordi Alba, Miami fans heading for the exit. And Miami looks like it'll be their first loss in quite some time, unless they can force a stoppage time miracle. Down this right-hand side is with Chelo Weingart getting the cross away into the box. 7 minutes of added time. Messi looks to initially chest it down. plate. For a goal kick. Ronald Hernandez, of course, one of the more intriguing signings for Atlanta United. Of course, had 2 loan stints at the club for both their second team and their first team. Was signed for Aberdeen in 2020 from Norwegian side Stabæk. It's cleared all the way now by Atlanta from a goal kick. Back to goal was initially Gregersen. Down this right-hand side is Fortune. And into the attacking half for Atlanta, breaking away from his marker towards Mosquera. And this right-hand touchline. Turns away. Plays it back into the defensive half for Atlanta United. Back with AJ Fortune. In the centre circle now. And Hernandez plays it towards that left-hand side. Looks like he's playing more of an attacking role. Apologies for some technical difficulties down this left-hand side once more. Atlanta United looking to race forward. Edge of the area, Muyumba in the box. Back to goal was Hernandez. It's still for Hernandez on that left-hand side. Gets a strike away. It's all the way out. It looks like for a throw-in, and Miami are going to take their time. Well, this was a good piece of play. Muyumba just breaking the space and getting the strike away. And now it's in the defensive half for Kvitsov. On the right-hand side of defence, Messi. Long searching ball forward to no one in particular. Right into the feet of Josh Cohen. Going to hold it and take his time. Atlanta United in no rush whatsoever. They know that they're basically secured. And their biggest victories this season. They will almost celebrate this like it's a MLS Cup win. And Mosquera wins it back in the attacking half for Atlanta. At the midway point of their attacking half towards Jordi Alba now. On this left-hand side for Inter Miami. Shifts it towards Messi in space. Midway point of the attacking half on his left foot. Towards Jordi Alba. Approaching the penalty area, but it's well dealt with by Atlanta once more. Muyumba. In space now. Looking towards that right-hand side. Here is Brooks Lennon down that right-hand touchline. Numbers forward for Atlanta. Well, in fact, not much. He's in line with the penalty area on that right-hand side. Brooks Lennon. Fortune. Now in, across the centre circle was Muyumba. Back towards Fortune. Mosquera. Atlanta happy to knock it around. 3.5 minutes left for them. Fortune in the attacking half once more. On the halfway line again for Mosquera. On that right-hand side. Plays it back all the way into the defence. There was Cobb, back to their goalkeeper and Cohen. Out towards that left-hand side. It's left initially, and they've got space opening up. Hernandez out towards that left-hand side. Here is Wiley racing forward, driving into a central position. Enters the area. It's Wiley! Right into the goalkeeper, Drake Callender. He's going to throw it out now for Busquets. Well, Miami sort of know that this is well beyond the possibility now for them. Matias Rojas out towards that right-hand side. Brilliant piece from Messi. Now towards approaching the right edge of the area is Cello Weingart. Racing forward. The cross away towards Messi. He's in the Messi on his left foot. Messi! And it looks like it deflected off an Atlanta United player out for a corner towards that left-hand side. And the tall task for Messi as well. He's come into this game, has barely been afforded any space and has tried his best, but not exactly so far. Alba towards the box. It's headed high by Atlanta, and it's headed away once more. 5 minutes gone so far in stoppage time. It's with Thomas Aviles on halfway. Will likely look to fashion a delivery in, but plays it short towards Messi at the midway point of the attacking half. Redondo towards that left-hand side is with Jordi Alba. Playing it back towards Redondo once more. At the midway point of the attacking half towards Messi now. Central right-hand side. And the pass is picked off by Atlanta and cleared high and long towards Hernandez. Kvitsov now. Here is Matias Rojas at the midway point of the attacking half for Inter Miami. Matias Rojas. And his pass is misplaced once more and cleared away by Atlanta United. All the way out towards that right-hand side for Inter to take the throw-in. The midway point of their defensive half, should I say. Well, for Atlanta United, next is a game next Sunday evening against Charlotte on the 2nd of June, and then following the break, we face the Houston Dynamo on the 15th. Entering the final minute in this contest, now towards this left-hand side is with Jordi Alba. Driving into midfield at the midway point of the attacking half. Redondo out towards that left-hand side. Here's Matias Rojas. Shifts it across towards the perimeter now for Luis Suarez. It's with Jordi Alba with the attempted cross, but it's low driven and right into the trusty arms of Josh Cohen. They've done all they can into Miami. They've held